Hello, Sam. Welcome back to Montage Road on a Friday night here. Nearly sold out. Cracking sunshine. Northamptonshire Steelbacks versus Durham in the T20 Blast. Northamptonshire have won the toss, and we're going to have a bat first. Can you just run us through the teams real quick?
Yeah, so Northamptonshire Steelbacks unchanged from the defeat to Worcester Rapid on Wednesday night. Chris Lynn, Ricardo Vasconcelos, Captain David Willey, Josh Cobb, Safe Zaib, Lewis McManus with the gloves, Tom Taylor, Rob Keogh, James Sales, Graham White and AJ Chai. And then Durham, our visitors tonight, captained by Alex Leeds at the top of the order. He's joined by Michael Jones, their top run scorer in 2022. Graham Clark at 3. Ollie Robinson, the keeper version, he's at 4. Ashton Turner, the Aussie overseas at 5. Baz the leader, one of 2 Dutch players in the side. Luke Deneathy just making his 3rd T20 appearance after a couple in 2021. Slow left arm of Liam Tavaskis. The ever-dependable Ben Rain, wrist spin of Nathan Souter, and then the second Dutchman, Brandon Glover, of course, no stranger to everyone here at Wantage Road. So those are the 2 sides for tonight.
Absolutely. So my name is Dan Jadzovic. Sam Keir is with me all evening. We've got Joe Gardner, Sunrise's professional cricketer, in the commentary box as well. So it'll be the 3 of us with you all night. Should we talk about Durham first, quickly? Tristan Stubbs was carded to be there overseas. He's been called up to South Africa A, so won't be part of Durham for the T20 Blast. But they did get Ashton Turner in. He's come back from last year, quite a late signing. And Wayne Parnell, former Northants player, is coming to play for Durham this season. Not here today, though.
Yeah, well, Ashton Turner has had a great winter with the Perth Scorchers, captaining them to their 2nd consecutive title. Obviously a big hitter, sort of a finisher, great strike rate in the death overs, and can bowl a bit of off spin as well. Yeah, not having Wayne Parnell tonight, hasn't quite made it back from the IPL in time. That's good news for Northants, that left arm, that experience. I think the Durham attack perhaps a little one-dimensional in the seam department. A lot of fast medium right armers. The spinners will be interesting. Obviously, they did really well here on Wednesday. Osama Mir, Brett Oliveira. So Nathan Souter and Liam Taraskis will have a role to play. Interesting that the Steelbacks have just gone for just Graham White amongst the full-time spinners, but wonderful to see a bit more of Josh Cobb. But the big thing for Durham is they need to score more runs than they did last year, and probably score them a bit quicker. Alex Lees comes in new captain, and I think Ryan Campbell has described his approach to this T20 season as new captain, new players, new philosophy. So we'll see how that pans out this evening.
Sounds good. She said no changes for Northamptonshire, just the one out-and-out spinner with Graham White. She said Josh Cobb can bowl finger spin, Safe Zaib can bowl some left-arm finger spin as well. So a few options, but how much of a difference do you think winning the toss and having a bat first is going to be tonight?
Well, it's what the Steelbacks love to do, isn't it? We saw it last year. Chris Lynn coming out, particularly here at Wantage Road, and just stamping his authority on the game from ball one. Had a good game against Durham last year. There's not many teams he didn't have a good game against. So yeah, I think they'll be happy that they've won the toss and batted, having not done that or not had the opportunity to do that in the first game. It's sort of I think in their comfort zone.
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned last year. I think it was 364 days ago. I think it might have been a tomorrow a year ago, if that makes any sense, which I don't really think it does. But it was Northamptonshire versus Durham. Northamptonshire won by 31 runs. As you said, Chris Lynn, that man, scored 80 odd, getting on from 90, I think, or 40 odd balls. Batting first, as you said, scored 230. Restricted Durham down to 190 something for 9 off their 20 overs. Big wickets for spin. I think 6 of them fell to spin in that Durham innings. So, as you said, hopefully we can have a repeat performance of that a year later.
Yeah, no Freddie Heldrick, who obviously took 3 cheap wickets in the corresponding fixture last year. Might have been tempting to get the wrist spinner in. We saw how well Osama Mir did. It's the same wicket, same boundary dimensions. But yeah, Graham Clark for Durham had scored 2 decent scores of 50 and a 40 odd in the 2 fixtures against Northants last year, so he'll be a key player for them. But obviously they lost AJ Chai. He's Northants' now, and he was their leading wicket taker. So that's what I kind of mean about that slightly one-dimensional looking seam attack.
Yeah, of course. And I think without Wayne Parnell, as we spoke about earlier, potentially a bowler light as well. So hopefully what is Durham's loss today will be Northamptonshire's game. They did the double on Durham last year. They won home and away. So hopefully this is the start of another double this season. Kick off the campaign for Northamptonshire as well.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, it's actually Northants 5, Durham 0 in the last meetings between the teams. So for what it's worth, history is on the Steelbacks' side. And of course, one of their most famous meetings, that 2016 final, which everyone here at Wantage Road will have very fond memories of, not least Josh Cobb, who scored 80 in that game.
Of course, and I mean, what better evening to make it 6-0. Nearly sold out here at Wantage Road. The vibe and the buzz around this place tonight just feels a little bit more than what it did on Wednesday night. I'm sure this area that you've yet to name on stream is going to be...
Sunset Boulevard, I'm going for.
Oh, I like it. It's going to be jam-packed for the evening as well, and I'm sure they'll get rowdier and rowdier and rowdier as the night goes on. I had the pleasure of speaking to Safe Zaib earlier on this afternoon, and we'll have a chat with Safe as we go around the ground now.
Safe, Dan, thanks for joining me, mate.
Thank you.
For a lap around Wantage Road before the game tonight against Durham. How are you? How's things?
Yeah, good. Really excited for tonight.
Yeah.
Packed out. Friday nights don't get better at Wantage Road, to be honest. Obviously, your first time here.
Yeah.
Friday night, so Friday nights here, you can't get any better.
Where's the best place to watch from on a Friday night here, do you think? Obviously, you're not watching on a Friday
I reckon
night.
over there.
Yeah?
Yeah, just sort of towards the nunnery, towards the scoreboard.
Okay.
Usually everyone stands up. You can get a nice little mem sub as well if you're a bit hungry.
I'm a big fan of Memsab, I got to say. And a bit of fielding practice as well ahead of anybody playing on Saturday.
Correct, especially when Linny's whacking the ball. But yeah, no, it's obviously really exciting tonight. Bit disappointing, obviously, the other night, but you know, we've got a chance to bounce back really quickly, and hopefully we can give the fans a good show.
Yeah, obviously you had a really, really good season last year, didn't you? I think you scored over 300 runs, striking over 150, I think, as well, if my kind of memory serves me right. I'll back your stats up. You're obviously going to know exactly what they are. Do you feel like you got a bit more of a defined role in this team now, this year?
Yeah, I mean, sort of last few years before that was a bit up and down, coming in sort of towards the back end of the innings. This year, sort of batting 4-5. Last year, batted at 4, maybe coming up to 3. So it's just sort of, it's nice to have a bit more of an impact with the team and trying to sort of influence games as best as I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, hoping for obviously another good year and hopefully we can win some silverware.
Yeah, David Willey's back as well, which is a massive name to add to the squad.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, someone of his class to be in the dressing room with for us is just absolutely amazing. Obviously, we've got him, Chris Lynn, and AJ Tai. You know, to have that sort of international experience for us is very important, especially when we want to win important games.
Yeah, for sure. And are we going to see you have a? I don't know why I've gone with my right arm.
Left arm.
A left arm. Are we going to see you have a bowl?
I hope so. I'm always in Willow's ears. You know, even last year I was in Cobby's ears as much as I could. I'm trying to work hard on it, and hopefully, if I do get a chance, I can get a bit of a go with the ball. But obviously, you know, if and when required, I guess. But yeah, I'll mention it again to Willow tonight.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he gives me a little bit of a go, and hopefully, I can make an influence with the ball as well.
Nice, cool. Shot selection as well. We've seen so many highlight packages of you over the years with your sweeps, reverse sweeps, switch hits as well. Obviously, that's not what you would call to be traditionally orthodox, but like for yourself, like that's as strong as a cover drive straight down the ground, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it didn't quite work out the other night, but I'm quite lucky to have the confidence of the coaches and the players to sort of play my shots as I see fit, and you know, to have the confidence of the dressing room in my ability to hit those shots is something for a very, very important to a player, especially to myself. And I love playing a reverse sweep or a sweep. I do get out to it more times than I should probably, but at the same time, you know, for me to play that, it's just sort of it's as important as a defense, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, especially if you can do it from ball one, and yeah, it just makes me a little bit more versatile as a T20 cricketer.
Yeah, I think it'd be fair to say, and I might upset a few of your teammates, but one of the more 360 players here in the squad at Northants.
Yeah, I'd like to think myself as a 360 player. You know, obviously quite strong square of the wicket, and I can hit sort of straight as well. But yeah, it's more of an impact where I want to have to sort of win games, like we talked about earlier on.
Yeah.
I think you can be, you know, as good as a player all around the ground, but sort of if you're not winning games, I don't think that's as important. So that's my aim this year, to try to hopefully influence and win some games for Northants.
Yeah, for sure. So we got Durham tonight. As you said, not the result we wanted on Wednesday, but a really good opportunity to bounce back really quickly.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, really, really strong side, Durham. Played them quite a few times over the last few years, and always have a very, very strong side. And hopefully, we can turn them over. You know, like I said, packed ground, you know, the adrenaline is always going for us, and you know, to have obviously our home crowd behind us, and hopefully we can turn around from the other day and you know put that to bed, and hopefully we can have a good night.
Yeah, without going into anything too serious or too deep, are there any kind of, and again, you don't really have to share them either, but any kind of key things that you spoke about as a group after the game that can put into effect this evening?
I think if anything, I think just a little bit complacent. Obviously, the start we got off to with the bat, you know, 100 off 8-9 overs, we were in a really good position to sort of win the game. But you know, myself included, you know, played a few shots too many maybe for that situation, and I think just being a little bit smarter in that situation, especially to those middle overs, and yeah, hope. Well, we've talked about it. You know, we've got the players in the dressing room to sort of win us games, and just got to play a little bit more smarter. And hopefully we can, like I said, we can bounce back tonight and win.
Yeah, as you said, it's such an exciting squad that Northampton's got this year. You kind of look through it 1 through 11. Each one of those individuals can win a game of cricket by themselves with the skill that they possess. Not all of them walk out wearing fluoro green boots, though, Safe. So, I mean, that does that give you any kind of stick from your teammates, or do you just kind of ride it out and think, well, I'm going to look like the coolest bloke on the field anyway?
No, if they do, then you know they wish they could be me, really. Yeah. But no, it's just sort of, it just gives me confidence, you know, like, you know, having like the Puma shoes, obviously, like I'm quite lucky to be an ambassador for them and wear those shoes, especially in the field. And it just gives me like nice confidence sort of going out into the field. And you know, it's nice also, like yourself, like a few of the crowd, you know, saying, oh, cool shoes and stuff like that. So it just gives me confidence, and you know, it's flair, isn't it? So you know, it's good fun.
It's T20. Why would you not wear green boots?
Correct.
Thanks for joining me, Safe.
Cheers,
hopefully we're chatting to you at the end of the game after a match-winning innings.
Hope so.
Cheers.
Cheers. We're good.
Well, it's a very good evening to you all from a very sunny and bright Wantage Road, similar conditions to what we had on Wednesday evening. The Steelbacks' second T20 Blast game of the season against Durham. And we've had the toss, and David Willey has won this evening, and the Steelbacks will be batting first. In the studio with me, Sam Keir, Dan Jadzovic. Good evening, both.
Hi, Joe. Great to be here as ever.
Good evening as well. It's always a bit awkward, isn't it, to start these off, but we're getting there. We're getting there. We're learning. But it's good to be back.
It's great. It's great stuff. Any pre-match thoughts from you in terms of predictions?
Predictions, well, I think winning the toss and batting will be music to the ears of the Steelback side. You know, it worked so well for them last year, and if they can get on top in that power play with Liam and Vasconcelos and Willie, then you know, who knows, the sky's the limit in terms of totals, and it just gets this crowd going, sell-out crowd here at Wantage Road, and gets the Steelbacks on top early, and we saw that often led to a Steelbacks victory. So Durham had a tough campaign last year. I think on paper you'd probably say Steelbacks' favourite, although we saw on Wednesday that the form from last year was by no means you know, the guide to what eventually happened. Durham are a new look side, new captain, bit of Dutch influence. I think Ryan Campbell's probably got shares in DFDS ferries from Amsterdam to Newcastle, because a couple of those guys coming over. So yeah, 60-40 Steelbacks.
Yeah, and that's what our intelligent cricket predictor is pretty much given us this evening as well, with the Steelbacks at 57.2% and Durham at 42.8%, as you can see on your screens. And Chris Lynn and Ricardo Vasconcelos make themselves out to the crease.
What about you then, Joe? What's your bold prediction?
Steelbacks.
Steelbacks win?
Based on how Chris Lynn, I think it was Ben Curran, went against these guys last year with record opening partnership for the Steelbacks in T20 history of 149. I mean, we saw an initial glimpse from Chris Lynn the other night, didn't we? And I'm sure he'll be looking to reproduce that form again, no doubt. Obviously, Brandon Glover making his Durham debut this evening, ex-Steelbacks player, played 14 times back in 2020 and 2021. I'm sure he'll have a few nerves on his return to Wantage Road, no doubt, but we know how fast he can bowl. I think in his first game for the Steelbacks back in 2020, when he was playing against Worcestershire, he actually broke a stump. So you know what they say about fast bowling, though. Quicker it comes down, the further it goes.
And we saw that a bit, didn't we, on Wednesday, with the spinners for Worcestershire kind of being the most effective bowlers on the night, and that if you got your lengths wrong as a seamer, then you disappeared. So it'll be interesting to see if we see a bit more spin, maybe a bit like Dan and I discussed earlier, maybe a bit more Josh Cobb, a bit more. Have you muted me?
It's going to be
I'm back.
Baz the leader to open the bowling from the David Capel end. Fielders we've got out are a deep third man and a deep square in front of the wicket, with a 7-3 field on the offside. 6-3 rather.
Who are your danger players on the Durham side, Joe? I know you're the queen of research, pre-match research.
I think you've got to be wary of Ashton Turner. He played here last year. Only was out there for 7 balls before he had to retire hurt. I think he'd scored 21. He's the leading run scorer for Perth over in the Big Bash. Obviously, he had a lot of success with them. Oh, and he's bowled him. Chris Lynn is gone. 3rd ball of the innings. Shaped in from Baz the leader, and it's hit Chris Lynn's leg stump. Didn't look like there was that much pace on that delivery, to be fair. That early shape that we see in the first few overs with the white ball. Chris Lynn, unfortunately, has to depart.
That's a massive blow, isn't it? We all know what Chris Lynn did last season, and against Durham, it was no different. It's interesting about that ball. On the Sky coverage of the London Derby yesterday, Nasser Hussain was saying he thinks this batch of Kookaburra white balls is swinging more than he's seen in previous years. And I think we did see that early on, didn't we, on Wednesday night with David Willey hooping it. But it didn't last long.
No, it was only a couple of overs, wasn't it? But yeah, it's not the ideal start for the Steelbacks. And they're 0 for 1 after just 3 balls of that wicket on his T20 Blast debut for Durham, Baz the leader. But it brings the dangerous David Willey to the crease on his 250th professional T20 appearance. That's some going, isn't it?
Yeah, amongst English players, that's got to be right up there, hasn't it? I think Chris Jordan, Owen Morgan, Joss Butler's probably getting up there now. But yeah.
Yeah.
Luke Wright.
Alex Hales,
yeah.
those
Ravi
kinds of players.
Bopara.
Yeah. Swing again there from the leader. This time a bit of shape away down the leg side. Looked like signalled as leg by, so either Willey got a bit of pad on that. 2 left-handers at the crease. Ricardo Vasconcelos comes on to strike for his first ball. His T20 career best came against Durham at Chester Street in 2021. 78 not out he scored then. He was shaping up nicely on Wednesday as well before he was dismissed.
Baz the leader is on Cricinfo. He's down as medium pace. I think he's a bit livelier than that.
Yeah, he's definitely not as quick as what we're going to see from potentially Brandon Glover at the other end, but certainly got a bit about him, hasn't he? I think he was leading wicket taker for the Netherlands at the T20 World Cup in Australia last winter. So something to be aware of. He's bowled an excellent first over there, to be fair to him. Steelbacks 1 for 1 after that initial over.
Second. And we're back, Joe.
Yeah, and let's hope that the next 19 overs will be a little bit more fruitful than the first one, perhaps. It's going to be the off-spin of Ashton Turner, I believe, to open the bowling from this Lynn Wilson centre end. This could be quite a good match-up, the right-arm finger spinner to left-handers.
Oi.
I think he got a nick on that,
yeah,
by the reactions of the players. It's a chance, tough chance, but Ollie Robinson's a pretty decent gloveman. It's a very good start here from Durham. Willey's able to get himself off the mark, just guiding that one out to a fielder at deep mid-wicket. We've got deep mid-wicket and a long on, the 2 men on the ropes in this power play. Obviously only 2 fielders allowed outside the circle in the first 6 overs.
The county ground is a picture tonight, isn't it? Filled to the rafters, not a cloud in the sky. that hum of anticipation.
Cut away nicely, but well fielded from Michael Jones there at backward point. Slight change in the field. Deep mid wickets come up, and we've got a deep square legging along on.
I got a song on the Steelbacks jukebox before the start, Joe.
Yeah, go
You know
on.
about this?
What this time?
You know about the Steelbacks jukebox?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I tweeted my request, and within 30 seconds it was on.
Unreal.
So that was a proud moment, strolling around the boundary
It's
edge.
a good start to your evening. But hopefully that will translate over onto the pitch for the Steelbacks, as they're 2 for 1 after the first 2 overs, which is pretty rare for them batting first here at Wantage Road. We know how well they went in the power play when they were chasing the other evening against the Rapids. 72 for 1 at the end of the power play on Wednesday evening. Baz, the leader, unsurprisingly gets a second over. And he's gone. David Willey has inside edged that through to the keeper. It kept low, but he has to go, and the Steelbacks are 2 for 2 in the third over.
Good catch that, isn't it, with it swinging back after it took the edge.
Yeah, a bit of shape late on there.
Good footwork from the former Kent glove man, one of the top keepers, isn't he, in the country?
Yeah, he certainly is. And David Willey's 250th T20 appearance ends with an innings of just 1 off 5 balls, and he'll be looking to rectify that with the ball later on this evening, no doubt. But it brings the dangerous Josh Cobb to the crease, who obviously won that Player of the Match award in the final against Durham back when the Steelbacks last picked up the T20 Blast Trophy in 2016. They'll need a solid partnership between these two here. The former Steelback skipper, work to do. It's been a brilliant start from the leader, hasn't it?
I was going to say a dream start, and it's that moving ball. You're so used as a top order player in T20 cricket to come out on a belting deck and be able to play through the line, or trust your cross-batted shots. And we've seen the leader just getting it to move through the air. Lasted about 2 overs.
Beautifully timed from Josh Cobb, and that'll be 4 all the way through the backward point boundary. Point boundary, lovely timing there from Cobb. Helps himself to that, just a little bit of width on offer, not too much movement there from Delida. But the first runs he's conceded this evening, Josh Cobb gets his innings underway with a boundary.
Yeah, he's lost about 2 or 3 overs, didn't it, Wednesday night, and then just stopped. And I think there was one shot where Willey had pitched it up, thinking, okay, it's swinging, on it, keep pitching it up, and it got crunched, and that was the end of the pitching it up and hoping it swung away.
Yeah, and the slip was rightfully then removed, and the slip's no longer in place for the leader here. He goes short, and Josh Cobb, not sure he's got all of it. It's going to be a 1 bounce 4. That got up on him as well, didn't it? A bit of extra bounce from Delida as he's pitched that one in shorter.
Yeah,
but no, it's a second boundary for Josh Cobb.
Surprise bouncer as well, because so far everything's been pitched up, as you would expect with the ball moving. But Northants will take them however they come at the moment at what was 6 for 2 and is now 10 for 2.
And that will be 4 again. Josh Cobb, 3rd boundary of the over. In that same region for his first boundary, this time just stood there off the front foot, punched it through the region. And that's a good response after losing the wicket of David Willey with the first ball of the leaders over. 3 boundaries for Cobb. He's on 12. Vasconcelos yet to get off the mark. It's a change of bowling from the Lynn Wilson centre end. And it's going to be that man, Brandon Glover, on his Durham debut. A man that Ricardo Vasconcelos will know very well. South African-born Dutch international, Brandon Glover.
I was going to say a very Dutch flavour to the bowling now.
And that was absolutely smoked from Ricardo Vasconcelos. An excellent bit of fielding from
Baz the leader.
Baz the leader. You can't keep him out of the game at the moment. That would have left the mark on his hand. No, absolutely no doubt about that. And he's ringing it out as we speak. Can't quite see it on the stream.
I think just to add a little bit extra to this, Vasconcelos is Glover's former landlord and childhood best friends as well.
That's a great bit of colour, Dan. Where'd you find that out?
Alex told me.
Okay.
I'm not stealing anybody's thunder, but it does just add a little bit more kind of context and spice to this battle that we've got right now, doesn't it?
Especially if Ricardo didn't give him his deposit back.
Yeah, I wonder what Brandon might have done to have warranted that.
Wide and down the leg side from Glover, but Northants will take them at the moment, that is for sure. Yep. Brandon Glover again just played the 3 matches in the T20 World Cup for the Netherlands, but was ultimately the undoing of South Africa's World Cup campaign as he took 3, 4, 9 off of 2 overs, including the wickets of Riley Russo, David Miller and Heinrich Klaassen, who have all recently been playing in the IPL. So 3 not so bad scalps for Brandon Glover.
Some guys over there making the most of the facilities. Guys, it's 3.3 overs into the evening. Pace yourselves and leave the bins alone.
It's clipped nicely from Vasconcelos, but again, well fielded. I'll come back for a second. Vasconcelos gets off the mark with his 9th delivery, so hopefully he'll be able to accelerate now that he's got himself off the mark. Fielding's been pretty good so far from the Durham guys, hasn't it?
Yeah, they've been
making it hard work for the Northants batters.
Yeah, with ball and in the field, they have been very impressive. Just a bit of frustration creeping in for Ricardo. You know, he's aware that he's eating up balls here. I think he's fine though. If the key thing is not to give it away now, because when the ball was swinging earlier on, then it seems a weird thing to say in T20 cricket, but he's still there, Ricardo. It's gonna get easier, and what you don't want to do now is play a shot that isn't there to be played and give it away.
Slightly slower, I think that was from Glover, but Vasconcelos has timed that nicely over the leg side, and he'll get his first boundary of the evening, and I'm sure that'll make himself feel a little bit better. It was pretty full on leg stump, and Vasconcelos was welcome to it, and the Steelbacks move up to 21 for 2 after 4 overs. So 2 overs left in this power play.
You'll know about this, Joe. They talk about bowlers getting out of an over, right? And when you've bowled, well, he'd gone for 3 or 5 balls, and then one thing you don't want to do is give a boundary away on the last delivery. But that's a great shot from Vasconcelos, wasn't it?
Yeah, it just takes a little bit of momentum and obviously pressure that Glover's created in the over. Just gives it to the batting side slightly. Change of bowling. Baz the leader's out of the attack at Lynn Wilson's centre end. Brings Ben Rain into the attack.
So
Sneak a single there. Josh Cobb.
Ben Rain is following the leader. Dan's face.
Your punny jokes are back again, Sam.
I've been thinking about that all day.
And it's worked out nicely for you.
It's a shame you didn't keep thinking about it as well.
Right, mute yourself again, please, Dan.
So Ollie Robinson, the keeper's now gone back. He stood up for that first delivery. Runs here for Vasconcelos, but it will be cut off by the cover sweeper, just a couple. So yeah, Ollie Robinson stood up for the stumps for the first ball of the over from Josh Cobb. That just pretty much tells you everything you need to know about, one, the skill of Ollie Robinson, and also the pace that Ben Rain's bowling. Down the wicket comes Vasconcelos, and he's flayed that through extra cover for 4. Excellent shot.
They like that down there, don't they? That got a big cheer from the Steelbacks faithful.
Bit of aggression there from Vasconcelos, hitting it to where those men were banging those bins. Well, not far from it anyway. Steelbacks move up to 28 for 2.
Had a pretty decent campaign last year, Ben Rain, 15 wickets. Just behind Andrew Tye, who obviously is now in the blue of Northants rather than the yellow of Durham. Where does Durham's kit rate on your Blast Kits league table, Joe?
I quite like it.
It's bold,
It's got a bit of flair about it, yeah. That'll be 4 for Josh Cobb as well. Just back of a length, and he is able to get himself underneath it, and it goes all the way to the mid-wicket boundary for 4. Little bit of shape and angle in from Ben Rain, but Cobb isn't going to miss out with that. It's been a productive over so far for the Steelbacks. Dot ball to finish from Ben Rain. That just was very much came off the toe of the bat of Josh Cobb. Stan is going to take over on lead commentary duty.
Here we go. Change of bowling as well. What a time to come on. What a start for Durham as well. 33 for 2 after 5.
Yeah, those first 3 overs were very productive for them indeed. I was very impressed with Baz the lead, I must say.
Yeah, incredible. Nathan South is going to be the new bowler from the Lynn Wilson centre end. Obviously a bit of leg spin, a bit of wrist spin that we saw went so well for Worcestershire on Wednesday night with Osama Mir and Brett D'Oliveira. Let's hope for our sake it doesn't go quite as well today. But yeah, I mean, Baz the leader with that new Kookaburra was phenomenally good. I've started to wonder, did you watch any of the Somerset Hampshire game?
Yes.
Absolute car crash of an innings, wasn't it, from Hampshire, which being a Sussex boy is always nice. That's up from Vasconcelos, and it's just evaded the man. They're going to come back for a couple, I think, if it doesn't run away for 4. Well fielded in the end. It just made me wonder, and what we've seen so far, I wonder whether the person in charge of making these white Kookaburra cricket balls is like some disgruntled old ex kind of fast bowler that just wants a bit more balance back in the game, and he's kind of just spiting all the batters out there.
Yeah, what was it, 74 all out, 77 all out or something like that.
Down the ground this time, well fielded at cover. It's going to be a dot ball.
They've been sharp in the ring as well with their fielding, and that's a real nice sign of their intent and how they want to go about their business.
It's been a good start from Salter here, isn't it, with these three? And that is up again from Vasconcelos with a slog sweep. Fielder underneath it, and that is grasped. Vasconcelos gets a life. We live to see another day. Chance for Durham, not taken.
And I think it was the man that hasn't played too much T20 cricket, Luke Donathy. They're always
how
difficult.
tough is that?
They're
though?
always difficult, those ones where you're running back over your head. I mean, I know I don't like practicing them in training, but you know that you've got to get it done because it's the only way you're ever going to get better at executing them in the big games like tonight.
And that's powerfully struck down the ground. Cobb thought about a single, didn't he, there, but declined it as it went to Ashton Turner mid-off. Vasconcelos with that shot was just eyeing up that shorter boundary, wasn't it? It's pretty even the whole way round, but it is slightly shorter down towards what would have been Vasconcelos' deep square leg boundary. But as I say, a good over from Souter. Full toss, and that is gone. Cobb this time goes caught and bowled by the Durham leggy. Souter picks up his first wicket, and that's the end of the power play. Northants in a spot of bother, 36 for 3.
Yeah, Cobb not happy with that at all, using his feet, turned it into a bit of a low full toss, didn't he, and just towed it straight back to Nathan Souter there. And again, catches off your own bowling, they're always difficult to take as well. I mean, that one was more of a regulation chance, but they've still got to be taken, and it's going to be a good challenge for these middle-order batters to get the Steelbacks up to a good total, because they often say about losing 3 wickets in the power play in T20, it's often an uphill battle.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is backed up quite brilliantly by the intelligent cricket win predictor Durham, just shy of 60% now after this start, being 3 down. Safe Zaib is the next man to the crease. I spoke to him earlier this afternoon. He's in good form, and let's hope that these two can build a bit of a partnership together. We've got a watcher, Sam, and Sam will like this. He's on a bus from Chicago to Indianapolis on his way to the Indy 500, and he's watching the Northants versus Durham live stream.
Yeah, well, I know which will be is a higher profile sporting event.
Pint of milk to the winner this evening. Brandon Glover, sorry. I've been stitched by the commentators. And that's just one to Vasconcelos. So did you, over the course of last season, you obviously watched Brandon Glover a little bit, didn't you, for Northants? So how is he going to go about this after the power play? Brilliantly fielded at backward point.
I mean, he'll still try and bowl his best ball. I mean, he's got his variations that he'll most likely go to, but because he has that extra pace that I think it's still relatively rare, certainly in the English game, he'll just be trying to use that as his main threat predominantly, you would think, and that's what the field's telling you as well, with he wants to hit that back of a length.
Square of the wicket, Safe's running hard. It's only going to be one though. Fielded at backward point.
Yeah, he bowled very well here in the game that they had against India last July. I think he opened the bowling with a maiden. Or his first over was a maiden, yes, 3 for 33.
Short this time, and Vasconcelos picks that one up. It's going to be one, though, down to the fielder at fine leg. So 3 runs off his second over so far. That percentage that we can see in front of us is climbing, well, in the wrong direction, quite frankly, from a Northants perspective.
I just checked who Brandon Glover's wickets were in that game against India. One of them was Surya Kumar Yadav for a duck.
Not a bad bloke to get out, is he? And that's down the leg side. Wild from Brandon Glover. Good take by Ollie Robinson. Wide signal, so he'll have to bowl that one again. Yeah, I mean, to get Sky out at any point is impressive, but to get him out for nothing is quite ridiculous. That prompt's just come up on screen, Joe, so I think this is the perfect time to mention the double header that's going to be happening here on Wednesday. You're playing. Who have you got?
Western Storm.
Sunrisers versus Storm at the county ground, so that should be 2. I think Safe's going to come back. It's well fielded on the boundary, so 2 added to the score for Northants. So we've got Sunrisers versus Storm, and then we've got the Steelbacks versus the Bears as well. So what a great opportunity that is to play on a Wednesday night and come down and watch 2 games of cricket.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always an absolute thriller in times gone by between the Steelbacks and the Bears. It's
I was
always
talking more about Sunrisers versus Storm, Joe. Or outside edge, just 1 down to deep third.
Yeah, we played a game here last year, double header against the Central Sparks, and I absolutely bottled it at the end. Didn't quite get us across the line, and we lost by something like 5 or 6 runs. It was caught on the rope out in Rowdy Corner, or whatever Sam reckons he's going to call it.
I'm not going to steal his thunder, but I'll save it. I'll save it for Sam.
Oh, when the sun's out and you're all looking towards the west of the ground with your sunglasses on, I thought Sunset Boulevard.
Interesting for Northampton, but I mean, we'll take it.
Based on the county championship cricket so far, Sam, I didn't even realise the sun shone in Northampton.
The weather's been honking for the championship games.
Pretty bad, isn't it? Ashton Turner's back. Big appeal for LBW, or possibly a stumping, in fact, but nothing. I think there was an appeal for both there, wasn't there? But I think the LBW was...
Yeah, I reckon it was.
Oh, whipped into the leg side by Safe Zaib for a single.
Plenty of bottom hand in that one from Safe.
Yeah, I spoke to him this afternoon, and we spoke about the strength of playing all around the ground for him. Oh, play and miss from Vasconcelos. Someone who, I mean, I think it would be fair to say would probably be one of the more 360 players, if not the most 360 players here in the Steelback squad. Tucked into the leg side by Vasconcelos.
Yeah, he had a bit of a breakthrough year last year, would you say, where it just looked like he was playing with so much freedom and just really backing himself to just go and execute his skills, and he batted really well in the Royal London Cup.
Down the ground. I think Turner just saw him coming there, didn't he, and dropped that one a little bit shorter.
Yeah, he's a man with international experience, is Ashton Turner.
And that's going to be another single. I think they're definitely not coming back for 2 there. So 3 runs off the over. Ashton Turner's bowled 2 overs for 4 runs here. The ground staff suggested that they didn't see much of a difference in the pitch for on Wednesday night. I guess you wouldn't really expect to, would you, after 40 overs of cricket? Which would lead you to believe that kind of 180, 190, maybe 200 is par. Based on this start from Durham so far, it's been quite an incredible start, if that is in fact par.
Yeah, they've bowled really well with accuracy, but also pretty clever with how they've gone about it as well, in terms of mixing up their their pace, and that over from Ashton Turner probably summed it up, to be honest. Just how he's able to really bowl to his field, and obviously sneaking the 3 dots in there was very handy.
Yeah, Ben Rain is back. Slower ball.
And it's definitely looking as though the pace off stuff is a lot harder to get hold of, that is for sure. I thought that over from Ashton Turner was particularly slow for a finger spinner in the men's game, that's for sure.
Good take by Ollie Robinson. I think looking at this field, not only are they complementing Safe's ability to play all around the ground here, but I think a clue is what length's going to be bowled here. There is no fielder on the boundary from, what's that, cover point all the way round to mid-on. So there's your opportunity if you want to go over the top, but I don't necessarily think that's going to be given the opportunity to do so. So he gives himself a bit of room and gets away with one there.
Yeah, he's pretty much letting him have the single into the leg side, isn't he? And I mean, if Safe's smart, he could easily come back for 2 if he timed it just to the edge of the ring. Some nice aggressive run in between the pair of them, and that's pretty low risk option as well, you'd think, in the situation.
Yeah, change of the field as we're just talking about it. So long off goes out and fine leg comes up inside the circle. Slower ball from Rain, and that's just going to be worked down to long on for a single. So just 2 runs, it's 1 run, apologies, off this over so far.
Yeah, it's been good from Ben Rain. He had a bit of a stinking time of it when he was here last year. Bowled a couple of shoulder high no balls and was taken out of the attack, and Ashton Turner had to fill in for him.
Slower ball again, and Vasconcelos beats the fielder at short cover. That's going to be 4. First boundary for a while for the Steelbacks. Very welcome, and that's 50 up for Northamptonshire off 8.5 overs. Lovely shot by Ricardo there, beating the man at short cover.
Yeah, he waited really well for that. It was another slower ball from Ben Rain. He just waited until it was right underneath his eyes and got his hands through it nicely.
Yeah, Dan, you're right. That was the first boundary since the 5th ball of the 5th over.
That is off Vasconcelos' pads for a single, so he will keep the strike. 6 runs off that over in the end. Do we keep going with Ashton Turner here if you're a Durham captain? It doesn't look like they are, but it must be quite a tempting choice.
Yeah, Alex Lee's in his first game as Durham white ball captain, isn't he, tonight? But it looks like it's going to be the slow left arm spin of Liam Travaskis. But they'll obviously be aware of the threat that these two pose with regards to both the conventional sweep and the reverse sweep. It's something that is one of their strengths, these two batters.
Absolutely. Vasconcelos on strike. Works that one into the leg side. It's just going to be another single. Again, interesting the way that Durham have lined up tonight in comparison to the Steelbacks. Salter, Turner and Travaskis available to bowl spin. Bit of a pause at the crease there from Travaskis, but that's cut away really hard by Safe Zaib, and he picks up his first boundary, so he moves to 11. 57 for 3 now the score. Obviously the Steelbacks just going in with 1 out and out spinner again with Graham White. I know Josh Cobb can bowl a bit of finger spin. Safe's been working hard on his left arm tweakers as well, but clearly 2 different trains of thought about winning this game. That's short from Travaskis, and Zaib works that one into the leg side.
Yeah, and potentially the way that the Rapids bowled at the Steelbacks the other night, that might have played into the way that Durham have lined up.
Ooh, and beats Vasconcelos this time as he tries to cut that one out. into the offside. Back-to-back dot balls for Travaskis.
He had his best return in his 7 seasons of Blast cricket. He's coming into his 8th season. He's only 24, Liam Travaskis, but last year was a good year for him.
Cut away, it'll be a single for Vasconcelos. It's the end of his first over. It's gone for 7. Quick change in the commentary. Joe's going to sit out for 5 and Sam's going to come in. The score after 10 overs, then Northamptonshire Steelbacks are 59 for 3. Ricardo Vasconcelos is 26 not out, and Safe Zaib is 12 not out as well. Match sponsor today is Country Lion. And the stream, as usual, is powered by Daffabet. Over to you, Sam.
Yeah, so Brandon Glover now from the David Capel end, placing Ben Rain. And so far, Brandon Glover 2 overs for 14. So, particularly at Wanties Road, very impressive economy. And the dot ball will help that. Thinking about Durham spinners Sauter and Travaskis, I think two of the most underrated spinners on the Blast circuit. Just go about their business. Travaskis very consistent. I think 10 wickets in 3 of his last 4 seasons. I was amazed when Middlesex let Sauter go, but Durham's gain. It's a creative shot and it beats the man down here in front of us. It's Luke Duneathi with the despairing dive and a fabulous bit of creativity from Safe Zaib. Just the length delivery which he managed to turn around the corner, and Luke Duneathi had no chance. It raced away.
He's got some incredibly powerful wrists, hasn't he, Safe Zaib? Obviously it was his downfall in the end, that creativity and that 360 ability on Wednesday night, but as Joe said, someone who's really going to back himself to play those shots.
Oh, and that is a very high full toss. That'll be a no ball.
Well, I hope it is.
Drop. So it would have been totally irrelevant. But yeah, that is a no ball. And as a result, Northamptonshire will get their first free hit of the 2023 Vitality Blast. Do you know what, if I'm the fielder there, I'm not even bothering trying to catch it. Can only go wrong, can't it?
Well, clearly there's only one way. It was only the last over, wasn't it, that Joe was talking about Ben Rain bowling 2 face-high full tosses and got taken out the attack. I must admit, I thought that only happened in the kind of cricket that I play, Sam. But
I have definitely been removed from the attack on many occasions. Things are going badly, I just chuck a couple of head rifles.
It's just your way out of it.
Sorry, Skip.
Yeah. I wish I had enough control to do it on purpose.
Four men in the deep on the onside. And Zaib is going to take them on and beat them handsomely. 6 runs for Safe Zaib. There are 2 men out behind square on the onside, but neither of them had any hope whatsoever of getting near that. That's a big, big hit. And excuse me, that was Ricardo Vasconcelos, not Safe Zaib.
No, I think you can be forgiven there, Sam. They're quite similar in stature, aren't they? Both Safe and Ricardo. And we've been kind enough to be provided both of their match helmets here to sit on the desk with us this evening as well.
I've ruined the social media clip though.
Yeah, you have, yeah.
Sorry, sorry, Alex. Wrong batsman. Just mute it for social media.
Here we go. Here's the helmets in question. Look, lovely looking helmets, fresh from Safe and Ricardo's kit bag. But they are available in the club shop. So if you do fancy a bit of Steelbacks merch for the summer, there's the place where you can go and get them. And I mean, they do look really good, to be fair. Kind of feel like the perfect.
Not given wide, interestingly, there by the umpires. Ricardo Vasconcelos not happy about that decision, but a dot ball to finish the over, an expensive one. Was it 14 off it? And that free hit proving costly.
You know those people that put raincoats on dogs and make them dress up like carrots and things and then post videos on TikTok? These kind of feel like the perfect thing for like a little spaniel, don't they?
Yeah.
I've dressed my dog up, I've dressed my spaniel up as a Steelbacks cricketer.
Or a Ridgeback. Well, they're a bit big, aren't they? I was going to say a Ridgeback Steelback, but maybe a Ridgeback puppy.
I think you'd need a proper helmet for a Ridgeback.
Liam Travascus, second over from the Lynn Wilson Centre end. Swept by Zaib, just 4-1. Interesting, the Intelligent Cricket having Durham 63.2% favourites to win this game, which I guess reflects the run rate here at Wantage Road, usually a bit higher than Northampton managing at the moment. That'll help from Ricardo Vasconcelos, 6 runs over towards standing room only on that side of the ground. That'll get them going.
Safe enjoyed that, didn't he? Watch the replay back of Safe punching his cricket bat in celebration as that one's gone over the over the rope. I think these two know this is such an important partnership for Northants, don't they?
Yeah, he is middle that one, that's for sure. Down the ground this time. Fielded. And just 1 run. Michael Jones doing the fielding there. Safe Zaib comes down the track safely this time out into the offside. Just 1 run. It's looking really for this region, vacant region, at extra cover, but got a bit of the outside half of the bat. Good to see him using his feet against the left arm spinner. Despairing dive, and that'll be 4 runs. Runs just coming a little easier in these last couple of overs for Northamptonshire, and that is a 50 partnership off 36 balls for the pair of Ricardo Vasconcelos and Safe Zaib. Just steadying the ship and now revving up the motor.
Yeah, I just said, didn't I, how important, these two know how important this partnership is. There's obviously batting to come from the Steelbacks. We saw how impressive Tom Taylor was on Wednesday night in that run chase at the end there, but these two really do hold the key, don't they, to giving Northants something to bowl at this evening.
Just darted a little quicker that time by Travascus on leg stump, avoiding a repeat of the previous delivery, and that is the end of the over. 14 from it. 8 overs remaining. Steelbacks 87 for 3. What's a minimum, do you think, Dan?
I mean, they're going to do very well, aren't they, to get up towards 160 from here. I guess you'd look to double it from what, 10? With a little bit of interest. So I mean, 160 could be there or thereabouts, but I think they're going to really struggle to go much higher than that. There is a huge positive that, I mean, the longest hit tonight is 79 metres, which is down towards the Jackson Grundy end from the Lynn Wilson Centre. So it's not a big ground by any stretch, Sam, so there is a real chance, and there is a lot of power left to come in this, or currently at the crease and left to come in this lineup too.
So Baz de Leader returning at the David Capel end to bowl his final over, sorry, his 3rd over, 2 for 12 off his 2 overs so far, including a lesser spotted T20 maiden. That one just kept a little low on Ricardo Vasconcelos, who drops to his knees as if to say, wasn't getting there. He's not a tall man, but it shot through. Pace off, I think, from de Leader.
Yeah, it was well bowled, wasn't it? And that first over, as you said, a lesser spotted maiden. I think it was a wicket maiden as well, wasn't it? So even rarer in
your I Spy book of T20 cricket.
Yeah, exactly. Tick that one off.
And the scoop, you can tick that one off as well. Vasconcelos moves to 49 from just 38 deliveries. And after a slow start, he's just picking up the pace. He's batted really nicely.
Yeah, shot boy. I've just been talking up Safe, haven't I, about being the 360 player here at Wantage Road, and Ricardo Vasconcelos has turned around and said, actually, I'm part of this conversation as well. What a shot.
Yeah, it was another attempted sort of slower delivery I think the fingers just dragged down across the seam. And again, this time, cut and dropped.
He's hit that so hard.
Yeah, it would have been a fabulous catch at backward point. And that's 50 for Ricardo Vasconcelos. 39 balls, 5 fours, 2 sixes. Crucial knock.
Accelerated really well, hasn't he, Sam, over the last 10 balls to, I think he was about to run a ball at 30. So the last 10 have flown.
Oh, and I tell you what, that wasn't that far away from Ollie Robinson. He does get battle on at Safe Zaib, and that will be 4 runs, saying to Ricardo Vasconcelos, anything you can do, I can do, not quite as well.
Do you know, I was thinking that's where you were going, but not quite along those words. But a really, really handy over this for the Steelbacks, isn't it?
Yeah, just on Ricardo Vasconcelos, that's his 3rd 50 and all in T20 cricket for Northants, and they've all come against Durham.
Great stat. Jo is the queen of the stat, isn't she?
The notes that Jo turns up with put mine and your work combined to shame. You're sat there for 2 hours in a traffic jam on the M25 thinking about 4 hours thinking about what dad jokes you can come up with and following the leader. And I don't really know what I've to be fair, I've walked around with Safe this afternoon. I mean,
you went shopping at Rushton Lakes?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Safe was much more enjoyable to talk to.
Oh, and Safe Zaib attempts to just dab that between the not significant gap between the sort of fly slip and Ollie Robinson, the keeper. Probably, well, might have been a good thing he didn't get anything on it. Not much room for him to play that shot. Who was it with the drop catch at backward point? I didn't see the back of his shirt. And again, attempt to dab down to a very fine third, and the throw comes in from Ashton Turner and it hits Safe Zaib on the back of the leg. I don't think any malicious intent, but easy, lads.
Ouch. Has that got him around the ankle, isn't it, I think? Or was it the ankle or the back of the knee?
I thought it was that kind of bony bit on the side of the knee.
Yeah. Either way, it's, as you said, no malicious intent, but no less unpleasant for the Steelbacks batter to have to deal with there.
Interestingly, a big shift now in the intelligent cricket win predictor. Steelbacks back up to 45.6%. So obviously this partnership just getting the algorithm ticking. Nathan Souter will bowl his second over after a great start. 3 runs and a wicket in his opening over. The wicket of Josh Cobb, who was going nicely. And that wicket just put the brakes on for a little while, but Steelbacks have managed to pick up some pace again. Well run from Zaib and Vasconcelos, and a little bit of confusion between the 2 men ultimately doing the fielding. Liam Travascus, one of them, and I think Michael Jones, the other. And gone. A faint outside edge, and Nathan Souter strikes again, once again showing what a valuable bowler he is. And he's got the vital wicket of Ricardo Vasconcelos, who was just looking to drive him through the offside. Not a particularly extravagant shot.
No, I think it was there though, Sam. It was the right. Well, he offered him a bit of width, didn't he? And quite rightly, in this format and in this condition, Vasconcelos went after it, but he's gone for 52, and a well-made 52 as well. One that, without using all the cliches, but steadied the ship for the Steelbacks, which was definitely needed at this point. And Joe said 3rd 50, all against Durham. And Lewis McManus comes out and joins Safe Zaib, who is a pretty powerful bloke, Sam.
Yeah, it's a really clever bit of bowling from Nathan Souter. Just looking at the replay, it was a googly, and obviously Vasconcelos didn't pick it because he was expecting it to turn into him, and then he could play sort of against the spin along the ground on the offside. It wasn't a shot with a huge amount of risk, but once the ball was turning the other way, he was in trouble. And well taken, as you'd expect, by Ollie Robinson behind the stumps. Great figures for Nathan Souter now, 2 for 5 off his 8 deliveries so far.
He didn't take a huge amount of wickets last year, Sam. I think he only took 8 in the Blast, but he was pretty economical at 7.8, which is
he only played
a really good return.
He only played 7 games because Middlesex decided not to pick him, and then he was sort of again, I think another googly from Souter as they scamper through for a leg bye. Yeah, so he was left out by Middlesex, who cited the desire to sort of start blooding some youngsters, and you know, they've got a few exciting young spinners. Saw Nathan Fernandez last night on the TV, but a lot of experience and a lot of wickets to let go in Nathan Souter. Shorter this time, and again, Safe Zaib is desperate for 2, but he's not going to get it. He just timed it a little bit too well down to Michael Jones. 100 runs on the board for the Northamptonshire Steelbacks. 13.4 overs. 38 deliveries left in the innings, if my maths is correct.
I think you're spot on.
So let's see what they can get up to. Swept by McManus, and he will get off the mark eventually, thanks to a misfield.
Yeah, so he made 17 off 12 balls, didn't he, against Worcestershire on Wednesday night in Northampton's bid to chase down that 197.
Yeah, and he's got a little bit more time insofar as you have time in T20 cricket, whereas he came out with the rate climbing, did pretty well to hit 17 off 12, but ultimately with the rate climbing he was dismissed. So he can just give Safe Zaib as much of the strike as he can, whilst he perhaps knocks 1s and 2s for maybe an over. That's about all you get, isn't it?
It certainly is. I think so far, Sam, we've had, well, Travaskis has bowled 2 as well, so, but I don't fancy including those 2 because it doesn't suit my my statistics particularly well to do so. But Ashton Turner's bowled 2 overs and Souter's bowled 2 overs. They've picked up 2 wickets between them, or both. Well, I say Souter's picked up 2 wickets and they've gone for 12 runs.
Yeah. Ben Rain back into the attack. Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it, that Northampton are sticking with that seam-heavy attack. Like you say, there are options with Zaib and with Josh Cobb as well. But no wrist spin of Freddie Heldrick, who did so well in this fixture last year. Shorter and slapped into the offside, and the misfield will allow them to come back for 2. They've just got a little bit sloppy in the last couple of overs, Durham in the field, having been so impressive early on.
Yeah, Alex Russell would have been another option, wouldn't he? He was in the squad as an alternative. But to kind of throw another hat into the ring, I mean, Travaskis as well, 2 overs and gone for 21. So clearly spin can go. Should be 2 again.
Not just 1, and I think that is well, brings McManus onto strike. Safe Zaib didn't seem to run that quite as hard as he usually does. Maybe fancying having a go at a spinner at the other end, which maybe that's the over he's identified. You know, he's got 28 off 27. Time to up the ante a little bit.
Yeah, I might have been completely wrong, but I thought there was a chance for 2 there. Could well have gone to the fielder's strong hand though, so
another quick single, just dabbed into the offside. Lewis McManus happy to give Safe Zaib the strike as we discussed.
what do you reckon Steelbacks can get themselves up to, Sam? And I'll pose the question to Joe as well. He's going to take over from me in 2 balls time.
What have we got? 32 balls. Well, the dream scenario is you get 60 off those 32, 12 and over-ish. But with 4 wickets down, wonder how much of a role Tom Taylor will have to play. That's up in the air, and it'll be a chance taken. And that is bad timing indeed for the Steelbacks. Graham Clark with the catch out in the deep. Safe Zaib again trying to be inventive. It went further up than it went along, and an easy catch in the end, and that is a big wicket. And I might revise my 166. And if they're getting to 150 from here, then they're probably doing pretty well. Tom Taylor, like you said, Dan, is very impressive in the lower order on Wednesday night, and he'll have to do the same again if the Steelbacks are to get up to a respectable or even semi-respectable score. We know how high scoring this ground is.
Yeah, of course. Interesting move that Tom Taylor's coming above Rob Keogh, but I think a wise move, having seen Tom Taylor bat so well 2 days ago. We spoke, didn't we, about Tom Taylor's debut, which was incredibly impressive. But this has been a very, very good performance so far from Durham. And we could really do with a little Tom Taylor masterclass here for the next 5 overs.
Ben Raines brought it back really nicely, went for 12 off his first over, just 22 runs now in total off his 2.5 overs. So just 10 off his last 11 balls. So good middle over period. Tom Taylor is off the mark straight away with a single. So that completes the 15th over. 5 remaining. Steelbacks 106 for 5, 107 for 5. 2 relatively new batters at the crease. No surprise to see Nathan Souter continuing at the Lynn Wilson Centre end. 2 for 8 from his 2 overs. The men he has out are a deep square leg, a deep mid wicket, a deep long or long on, and a deep cover. And it is Ashton Turner at that long on that'll do the fielding as Tom Taylor picks up another single. Welcome back, Joe.
Hello, Sam. Oh, that would have been an exceptional catch. I think he's done well to get a hand to it, to be fair. Diving one-handed Souter off his own bowling, but we've already seen him take a caught and bowled chance this evening. Yeah, you just wonder what sort of total the Steelbacks are going to be able to get up to from this position to be competitive in this game. Reverse sweep attempted from Tom Taylor, and he has to go. Not sure if that might have pitched outside leg stump. We'll have a look at it here. Because he... Yeah, it was worth a shout.
Yeah, I'm not sure Tom Taylor can have too many complaints there. Hit him in line.
I think I was getting confused with the whole, you know, when the batters switch round.
Yeah, of course.
And how it works like that. But Tom Taylor's short spell at the crease comes to an end. Attempting to take on the reverse sweep. And Nathan Souter, who's been excellent in this game so far, has 3 for 10. It brings Rob Keogh to the crease, a man with plenty of experience.
I mean, it was only 2021 that he was the top run scorer for Northants, so, you know, pretty good guy to be coming in at number 8.
Yep, and he's passed 1,000 runs for the Steelbacks in T20 cricket. Goes to sweep early on, gets himself outside the line, but it's pretty full to sweep that delivery. That's the intent that Keogh's got.
Rob Keogh is actually the 9th highest T20 run scorer in Steelbacks history.
Trapped him on the pads again, and Keogh unfortunately has to go. Just 2 balls he lasted, and Sauter gets himself another wicket, and that's 4 wickets for him. Traps him on the crease. Looked like another googly perhaps from Nathan Sauter, that one just skidding on to leg stump perhaps.
I suppose the only question, like you say, is whether it was sliding down, but he was so deep in his crease that once it hit him in line, he was in trouble.
Yeah, it was a fair call, that is for sure. Steelbacks now 109 for 7. It's all gone to pot since I've come back over here.
We shouldn't have let you go, Joe. Nathan Sauter is on for his best figures in T20 cricket at this rate. Previous best, I think, of 4 for 23. So as long as AJ Tyler, Lewis McManus doesn't get hold of him, he's also got another over if he wants it to take a 5th wicket.
Final ball of the over. Shout for a stumping, but it went down the leg side. Must have clipped pad as it wasn't signalled as wide. Have a look on the replay again. Yeah, I think it just clipped.
Must have the belt buckle.
Ties.
Yeah.
Ties pad, that's for sure. Sauter's still got another over left. There's 4 overs to go. What do you think the Steelbacks are going to be looking for here? I think it's going to be a very revised total from what we saw, or what we were thinking even at the start of that 16th over.
Yeah, well, it keeps getting revised down. 4 overs, I mean, 140 is an absolute minimum to keep yourself in the game. And
Got
even
to bowl very well, haven't you?
Yeah. Looks like Nathan Sauter's almost bowling that googly as a bit of a stop delivery.
See Baz the lead come back into the attack. Clipped out in front of square from Lewis McManus. It'll just be a single. Final over for the leader, and he hasn't done too badly on his Durham T20 Blast debut, that is for sure. Certainly with that wicket maiden up top opening the bowling.
You see that quite a lot with leggies now, particularly in the white ball stuff, and Joe might tell me I'm talking utter rubbish, but from what I understand, I think the googly is a little bit easier to hide if you don't bowl such a massive turning leg, a leggy as your stock delivery, which is why I think that's becoming a little bit more popular in white ball cricket.
Andrew Ty's going to help that towards the scoreboard, but he's missed out and it's racked him on the pads.
And actually, there has been a little bit of movement for the spin. It's nothing extravagant, but you know, on a, you know, as Dan said, it's only had 56.2 overs on it, but enough that the batter can get themselves in trouble with the ball going one way and then the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's only those subtle movements that can cause issues. Short, hoiked out to mid-wicket from Andrew Ty, and they'll come back for a couple, I think. McManus is quick, get there safely. Yeah, just going back to your point about the googlies, I know certainly in the women's game, whenever we've done kind of any pre-match scouting and stuff, Amelia Kerr, one of New Zealand leg spinner, one of her stock delivery, well, her main stock delivery is that googly now, and it's just being aware of that. I think she's obviously very capable of turning it, as you mentioned, but in the white ball game,
And
something to be very aware of.
Amanda Jade Wellington as well, a bit.
Yeah, certainly. I don't think she probably bowls it with as much frequency. Yeah, Wellow's a very good bowler. I had the pleasure of batting against her a few times in the nets down at Southern Brave last year. Short. And
I guess she turns it a bit more naturally, right? So then you're sticking to your strength of getting it to rip.
Yeah, and using that as your main threat, I guess, for a wicket. Yes. It's a very tough skill leg spin, but when it's done well, it's very hard to face as a batter. Ty's driving that out towards long on. They've rotated well in this over, and that's what they'll need to do. Is they couldn't lose another wicket in that over, or she felt like it'd be really tough to accelerate and really make the most of the last 24 balls of the innings, but it's just 18 balls to go. We're hoping to get up to and as close to that 150 mark you'd imagine. At least another 4 or 5 boundaries in that 18 balls would be very handy.
And the camera panning up to the scoreboard past all the people standing with their drinks there. I think need a few of those boundaries to get them going, don't we?
Nathan Souter then, his final over. It's caught behind by the looks of it, I think, from Ollie Robinson, and Nathan Souter has a 5-wicket haul in just 3.1 overs. And again, that googly that we've been talking about, I think it was an inside edge from Andrew Ty. It's a great bit of keeping. Nathan Souter has his maiden 5-wicket haul in T20 cricket, and that's not a bad way to start the season for him. Unfortunate for the Steelbacks, as they're now 8 wickets down.
Yeah, well, I thought he was an underrated bowler, and he's just shown just how brilliant he can be. He's been on the money, not a bad delivery.
Yeah, he's bowled very intelligently indeed. As you can see, 5 wickets for him is no mean feat in a T20 whatsoever. It brings Graham White out to the crease. So Graham White sent in ahead of James Sales this evening. Play and a miss as he's gone back to cut that. That one was the leg spinner rather than the googly that we have been talking about. Full hit out into the offside from Graham White. Just be the single. White wanted to, but McManus assured him that it was a little bit too risky. Just really got to make the most of the last 14 balls of the innings. 2 balls left for Souter.
Lewis McManus has got to try and face as many of these as possible, hasn't he?
You'd certainly think so. Sweeping McManus and playing a miss, and that only very narrowly missed off stump.
Been unplayable. 2 wrist spinners in 2 games, 2 leg spinners in 2 games that have had Northamptonshire's batters in all sorts of bother.
Sweeping out to the boundary. Will it be caught? Oh no, they've dropped another one. It's at least the 3rd catch of the innings that's been dropped. And
I think it was a 4. He dropped it just, yeah.
It just rolled into the rope. I think it was Liam Travaskis out there at deep mid-wicket.
That has robbed Nathan Souter of the best ever T20 bowling for Durham. No one's taken a 6 for Durham in T20 cricket before. Nevertheless, still the 3rd best ever. 5 for 15 from his 4 overs, behind Paul Collingwood's 5 for 6 and 5 for 14.
Did you just see the apology from the fielder there that's just dropped that one on the way past? Nathan Souter just held his hand a little bit longer than what I think he might have done with that high 5, and I don't know, maybe he knew that there hadn't been a Durham 6-foot before, and he just let him know.
It would have been a pretty good way to start your permanent career as a Durham cricketer. Still a pretty good way, 5 for 15.
Not bad at all. So the best figures for a leg spinner in T20 cricket for Durham. If the other two were both Collingwood.
Yes, sorry, I see what you're saying.
Spinner,
yeah, the best for a spinner, beating Imran Tahir's 4 for 14 against Leicestershire in 2018.
He's gone okay, hasn't he, in T20 cricket, Imran Tahir? Another play and a miss from Graham White. Ben Rain, he's last over. Not sure if he got bat on that or not, but there's at least one in it. No, I think it's going to be signalled as leg byes, and any runs are important here for the Steelbacks. Looking to get up to at least 140, you'd hope. 10 balls remaining in the innings. But you'd think the bowlers are going to have a stiff task on their hands, wouldn't you?
I was just about to say they're going to have to bowl very well. Past score here at Wanties Rise in recent years. Probably closer to...
Wonderfully struck down the ground from McManus, but it's well fielded by the man at mid-off. Flat batted from McManus. Had it have beaten the man, it was definitely 4, so he's safe 3 there, the fielder. Oh, potentially another caught and bowled opportunity as well. Well, that's probably been the hardest of the lot, to be fair. And he got a fingertip to it, did Ben Rain. Fine legs just brought up inside the circle. Short and scooped from Graham White, with those two fielders up inside the circle behind the wicket. It's a risky but rewardful shot for Graham White. He scores his first boundary, moves on to 5, and the score moves up to 126 for 8.
Yeah, well executed. Just waited with the ball having its pace taken off by Rain. Just waited and then timed it nicely over Ollie Robinson's head, who is now heading back to prevent Graham White from repeating the trick. Probably sensible.
It's an excellent shot from Graham White. Really got his hands through that one. Had the elevation over extra cover for 4. So back-to-back boundaries for him. That was a classy stroke.
Lovely shot. And, you know, picked the gap as well. Went over the man at shortish extra.
And he can hit them, Graham White. He's had a few cameos in his time.
Did a few more of those shots, Northamptonshire.
Pace really taken off of that from Ben Rain. He gets out the over with a dot. So final over of the innings coming up. That was a pretty productive one for the Steelbacks in context of the game. Yep, Graham White had that cameo in the tie at Edgbaston. 37 not out of 12 balls. High scoring thriller at Edgbaston. As you can see, make sure you get your tickets for the double header between the Sunrisers and the Western Storm, followed by the Steelbacks and the Bears next Wednesday evening. Interesting tactic here with Liam Travaskis bowling the final over, so the slow left armer wicketless in the game so far, and he's gone at 10.5 and over. It's a bold move.
I guess turning it away from the right-handers, or the right-handed McManus.
Dot ball. McManus on the sweep again.
Yeah, I just wonder whether they again watch what happened with the low order on Wednesday with Worcestershire.
He's on the pull this time, out to the fielder, who makes no mistake this time, and that's Lewis McManus has to go. Caught out there by Baz the leader.
Yeah, and that's, I think, if you asked any tail end batter whether they prefer coming in and swinging against seam or against spin, then probably 8 out of 10 are going to say seam, aren't they? Because if you connect, it goes, whereas your timing's got to be spot on against the spinner. So I don't think it's a bad move at all, as we've just seen, hitting against the spin as well. I think they've got their tactics spot on tonight, Durham.
Yeah, it's been good captaincy from Alex Lees, and I think it's actually something that we're probably seeing more of in the shorter format of the game. In terms of closing an innings out with spin, it's definitely happening more frequently now than it kind of ever did before, as tended to be seam bowlers either trying to bowl their Yorkers or pace-off variations, and it's working for Durham here. No runs off the over. Final wicket for them to get. Edged, and that probably be 4 for James Sale's first delivery.
No fielders there.
No, and they all count at this point. It's massively helpful for Northants. Went to cut it. Got a good piece of the outside edge, but he won't mind. He won't mind with a strike rate of 400, that's for sure, James Sales. Full, and he's gone to throw the absolute kitchen sink at that, and he's just going to get one to long on. As I mentioned, Graham White can hit a long ball, so see how these final couple of deliveries go. 135 for 9, the Steelbacks.
Dan signals 6. He's called it. And he is spot on. Well done, Dan.
Oh, it's an excellent bit of fielding out on the road. You've cursed him there, Sam.
That is brilliant.
And if anyone wants to see a demonstration of how to field at Cow Corner in the modern game,
I thought for all money that'd have gone all the way. That's a great bit of fielding.
Excellent bit of fielding from Baz the leader. You just can't keep him out of this game. Final ball up in the air again, and it's gone to that man, the leader, and he takes another comfortable catch. So that's Steelbacks all out on the final delivery for 137. 2 wickets in the over for Travaskis, both caught at deep mid-wicket. Brings the innings to a close. So yeah, those tactics of slow left arm spin of Liam Travaskis worked pretty well there. Only 7 off the over. It's going to be, you'd think it's going to be a bit of an uphill battle in the second innings. Got to bowl very well and really take wickets in that power play, you would imagine.
It's been incredibly tough going, hasn't it? It's been great to watch from a Durham perspective. I suspect anybody sitting at home that isn't in the ground from a Steelbacks perspective has struggled through that. As you said, it's been really, really good tactics from Alex Lees and Durham without their overseas signing in Wayne Parnell. He wasn't ready yet, but still they've bowled Northants out for 137. Good opportunity though. Like, we've seen how much this white ball is going to swing around at the start, and there's no better bloke in world cricket than Dave Willey to take this new white kookaburra, backed up by, I would imagine, Tom Taylor, who picked up 2 for 9, didn't he, in the power play against Worcestershire as well. So I don't think it's going to be easy by any stretch for Durham to chase this down. There's some quality operators in this Northants attack with the ball. We don't have a wrist spinner though, which so far in these 2 games, I think there's been 11 wickets have fallen to wrist spin here at Wantage Road. But hey, we'll pick up the wickets with seamers, it's fine.
Exactly right.
I was just looking at the spinners' figures, combined figures in that innings. 9 overs, 7 wickets, and 4 plus 15 is 19, plus 28 is 47.
Say it with confidence.
I wasn't actually
Let's do it. I can do that again. Hang on. 30 plus 8 is 38 plus 5, 43 plus 4, 47. Yeah. So 7 for 47 in 9 overs.
Incredibly impressive.
Yeah.
Incredibly impressive.
Yeah, just 5 and over. 7 wickets, 5 and over. Yeah, not bad at all. Just run you through the Steelbacks scorecard. So Chris Lynn, he was bowled by Baz the leader for 0 off of 3 balls. Vasconcelos, his third half century, 52 off 41. Court Robinson bowled Souter. David Willey, the captain, again, Court Robinson bowled the leader, 1 off 5 balls for him. Josh Cobb was caught and bowled off a low full toss of Nathan Souter, which was his first wicket of the innings. He went on to get 5, 17 off 10 for Josh Cobb. Safe Zaib caught Graham Clark, bowled Ben Rain, 28 off 28 for him. Lewis McManus caught Baz the leader, bowled Liam Travaskis, 10 off 11. Tom Taylor and Rob Keogh were both LBW to Nathan Souter. And Andrew Tye, Souter's 5th wicket, caught behind again by Ollie Robinson, 4 off 6 balls for him. Little cameo from Graham White, caught on the final ball of the innings, caught by that man, Baz the leader, off the bowling of Travaskis. And James Sales, 5 not out for a couple of balls.
They certainly look a more imposing proposition than they did last season, don't they, Durham? I think Ryan Campbell was talking about needing a bit of a reset, which they've been doing in Championship cricket, and based on the first half of this game, they look a side transformed, certainly with the ball.
It's interesting. It must just go to show kind of how much confidence and belief they have within the group, because they've actually got quite a few injuries in terms of people that have contributed for them in T20 cricket over the past few years. Obviously, you've got the likes of Matty Potts, who will be away on England duty, might be playing in the first test against Ireland next week. Bryden Carse bowls very quick, good all-rounder. Paul Coughlin, who's done really well as an all-rounder for them again. And then the unmistakable names, Ben Stokes, Mark Wood, who probably not going to be available too much in the blast for them this year, but they are missing some senior players within their ranks. And as you alluded to, Sam, they've started the county championship very well and sit top of Division 2. So when you get on a winning run, it tends to become infectious, and you've seen kind of the confidence that they've brought into their first innings of the blast this year.
Yeah, and I was going to say, people talk about, well, you can't look at 4-day cricket for any clues to how a side's going to go in T20 cricket, but in terms of confidence and the atmosphere around the camp, if you look at sort of where Durham are compared to where Northamptonshire have been recently, then I think that is a factor. However small, it's definitely been a factor. And even that last game that Durham played in 4-day cricket, a load of the guys playing tonight scored runs. So you come in feeling good about yourself as a player. It's the same human being, isn't it? So yeah, well, the long and short of it is that David Willey and AJ Tye are going to have to show all their experience as international class bowlers, backed up by Taylor, and then the spin of White and we would imagine a bit of Cobb and maybe even of Safe Zaib, given what we've seen out there.
Yeah, you'd think it'd be a really good opportunity for them to get their first overs under their belt in this year's Vitality Blast campaign, the way that the change-ups and the spin worked for Durham in that innings. But it will be a tough task for the Northamptonshire bowlers, that is for sure. But as you say, it's where you want your international experienced and overseas players to really step up and make themselves counted for when it matters, especially at home.
Either of you changing your Steelbacks predictions for the winning team at the end of the day?
Well, the stats would suggest we probably should, but who knows? It's if you can get on a roll, as we saw Durham do. Basically, it's T20. It's such a short game that if Ricardo Vasconcelos had someone hang around just a little longer with him, then 140 or 137 becomes 170, and you're in a much better position. But you need 2 guys to get a score, don't you, in a T20 innings, and really they could only muster one with a little support from Safe Zaib, but at only a run of ball. So yeah, it's going to be tricky.
Yeah, I mean, as well as Durham bowled on this, I do wonder whether there might be a little bit more assistance in this pitch than maybe what we have been led to believe so far. We obviously saw it, didn't we, on Wednesday night? And I suspect logic would suggest that if it's going to turn, there should be a little bit of lateral movement for seamers as well, if they can hit the seam. I appreciate it's not as pronounced on this white kookaburra as what it is on a nice red Dukes, but there is a lot of experience in this Northants bowling lineup, as you said, Sam, that they will look to kind of rely on. I don't see Durham going out there all guns blazing at this either. I think this is going to be a real kind of down to the wire thriller. Alex Lees, I suspect, is going to be top of the order. Could be proven completely wrong, but everything we've seen so far from Alex Lees in his career doesn't point you towards the fact he's going to go out there and blaze it at 200, does it? So I think this is going to be quite a long game. We saw how Vasconcelos and Safe in that quite essential partnership for Northants had to bat. It was quite slow, wasn't it? Vasconcelos was almost a runner ball for 30 until he went on. There was an over, wasn't there, I think, that Vasconcelos got a couple of boundaries away and he suddenly went, oh, he's on 50 now. That strike rate accelerated quite quick. Safe 28 off 28. It clearly proved that it was quite difficult to get going. It doesn't feel like the type of pitch to walk out there and strike at 180 from ball one.
Yeah, and again, just to sing Nathan South's praises, just as Northants were getting going or got a big over, he struck firstly with Josh Cobb, who had just taken a few off Liam Travaskis, and then soon after Vasconcelos got to 50, Souter got him as well. So someone needs to stand up and play the Souter role, whether it's a spinner or a seamer. I think you're spot on though, Dan, that having seen what they've seen and seeing the new ball does move, and that you've got someone like David Willey, who is about as good a proponent of the swinging white ball, that we may see them absorb a little bit of that early on. Couple of overs, not many runs, but crucially no wickets, and then you can start to up the rate a bit. So it's ironically probably having bowled first will have done them a lot of favours in terms of how they then go about this chase. Obviously, you're always favourite when you're chasing a low total, but having seen how the pitch has behaved and having seen how the new ball's behaved.
Definitely, Sam. I think you're absolutely right. But the Northants fielders are out there. Alex Lees and Michael Jones will open the batting for Durham. Stream powered by Daffabet. And thank you for your company so far throughout this evening. It's going to be myself and Joe Gardner for the first 5. Sam's going to take a little bit of a breather. Sam, Joe, apologies. A good opportunity to chat about the game on Wednesday, your double header with Western Storm. Tickets available for that one ahead of the Steelbacks versus the Bears. Excited to play here at the County Grounds? Oh,
I love playing here. Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. Played here, I think, twice in the past couple of seasons. Yeah, we've had a game here each year, which, yeah, it's just great to be able to get out there and kind of play at what I would call my home ground. Yeah, I love it. It's no better place. Hopefully get a win under our belts as well. Get some momentum this weekend. Tomorrow playing at Old Trafford and Sunday at Headingley. Hopefully come into that game next week with a couple of T20 victories and put on a nice show for the crowd. Yeah, obviously you can come down and watch yourself play, but Dane van Niekerk is going to be playing for the Sunrisers as well, which is really exciting. Yeah, 100%. She's such a good character to have around our group. So much experience, 14 years as an international cricketer for South Africa and leading a lot in that time as well. And obviously her first game yesterday at Lords, and I was speaking to her after the game, and without even trying, she just has so much to offer. Yeah, brilliant experience for us to have her around the group. Yeah. Well, here we go. David Willey from the Lynn Wilson Centre end. And that has beaten the outside edge first up. A little bit of shape away, I think. Yeah, and I'm sure he'll like the idea of Graham Clark playing and missing at that.
Yeah, it's not Michael Jones at all, is it? I've been stitched up by the scoring app. So Graham Clark and Alex Lees are going to open the batting. Even Clark scored 280 last year at a strike rate of 135. And that is a leading edge. And a dot ball for the Steelbacks.
I think just on about the pitch, we saw it took 9 balls for Ricardo Vasconcelos to get off the marks. That tells you everything you need to know, really. It's tricky to get going early on. You can't trust your hands as much as you might like, or as much as is often renowned in T20 cricket.
And that's whipped into the leg side. It's going to be the first runs for Durham. It's just going to be one of them. And Graham Clark is off the mark. So Alex Lees, Durham's new captain, will face up and face off against the Steelbacks captain in David Willey.
Alex Lee's last game in the T20 Blast, July 2021, against Notts, where he was dismissed for naught.
Well, I don't know whether form carries over from 2 years, does it? But we'll keep everything crossed that it does. David Willey then to Alex Lees. Oh, and what an absolute peach of a delivery first up. Joe, I think you might nearly have talked him out there.
I think he might have lasted 2 balls in that innings against Notts, so we'll see what this delivery...
There's still a chance. I mean, that was unplayable.
That was an absolute ripper.
An absolute seed from David Willey. Plenty of movement so far in this over. Alex Lees desperate to get off the mark. There's a chance. Could have been close if it was a direct hit, but Alex Lees gets through and gets himself off the mark.
They must have played a bit of Yorkshire together. Was there a little bit of crossover?
I would have thought so, yeah.
Lees moved to Durham, I think, yeah.
I would have thought so. One went north and one went south. And that's well run again. There's a chance. Graham Clark made his ground. So it's 3 runs off the first over for Durham. 3 for no loss. Good start for the Steelbacks. And plenty of encouragement there with the new ball for David Willey. Looks like Lewis McManus has got the helmet out. So I don't know whether, are we going to see a bit of Graham Clark here, Joe? Or are we going to see a bit of Josh Cobb? Looks, I reckon that could be a bit of Josh Cobb for the second over of the day from the David Capel end.
And I really like that move. I think I was a bit surprised the other day when Cobb didn't get an over in the power play. It's something that he's done for this Steelbacks team so regularly, and with quite a bit of success, to be fair to him, over the years. Took 2 for 24 and 2 for 20 against Durham last year, so something for them to think about, that's for sure.
Down the ground for Graham Clark. That's up. It's outside edge. It's going to fall safe. I think it's going to be a couple of runs for the Durham opener. Well fielded by the Northants pair. So 2 runs. Already asking questions and generating a bit of a full shot from Graham Clark, which is an encouraging sign. I just wonder, with the movement that these... we keep talking about batches of cricket balls, don't we? It feels like a never-ending conversation, but could the argument be, I can understand really if the ball's going to move more, that seam was the way forward. Slog sweep, it's up, and that is going to be a 1 bounce for Graham Clark. Picks up his first boundary, the first boundary of the Durham innings. They move on to 9.
It's well executed sweep shot there from Graham Clark, wasn't it?
Yeah, touch too straight from Josh Cobb, potentially. Change of angle. I think that might be a better result, though. Oh, it's an incredible effort on the boundary, but I think that has just gone for 4. That, I mean, there was all sorts going on for that one. It could have been 6, it could have been 4, it could have been a catch, but in the end, another 4 for Graham Clark. A brilliant bit of fielding down on the boundary to stop that going all the way for 6. And Graham Clark goes again. That one's gone up. Their field is converging on it. I think it's going to be safe. It is indeed. Safe Zaib returns the ball, and Graham Clark picks up a brace of runs. Fast start for Graham Clark. This time over the offside. That is definitely 6. Massive from Graham Clark. Over the offside, no fielders out there. 6 runs to the Durham opener. 21 for no loss off 11 balls. Turning out to be a pretty good start here for Durham.
Yeah, I've cursed it again, haven't I, by saying that I thought it was a good move to sneak that over of Josh Cobb in the power play, but Graham Clark's just attacked him and really gone after him, not with anything particularly fancy, but just really well executed sweeps and then over the offside there.
Graham Clark goes again, and that is enormous. Over the leg side, over the beer tent, over the fence and into the garden. Back-to-back 6s for Graham Clark, 27 for no loss. Durham, Alex Lees has got a cracking seat at the moment for this Graham Clark innings. To be fair to you, Joe,
eating my words there.
To be fair to you, Joe, I did say I felt this was going to be a bit of a slower chase as well. So I think we're both wrong. What a shot
we'll just
that is.
applaud the batting of Graham Clark, I think, in that over. Did well against the Steelbacks last year. 54 off 30 balls in the fixture that was here when they were chasing that mammoth total of 223 that was posted by the Steelbacks.
Yeah.
And he top scored at Chester Street as well with 44, so he tends to go okay in this fixture.
He seems to enjoy himself here at Wantage Road, that's for sure. A bit of head scratching, I think, for the Steelbacks at the moment. Only 111 now to win for Durham after this blistering start. And I think Alex Lees takes a single, does the right thing to get Graham Clark back on strike. So Graham Clark will face up against David Willey.
Intelligent cricket percentage win predictor. Steelbacks at 14.6%. I think that's still quite high. I thought it would be a bit lower than that, I must admit, but off to a good start, Durham as well here.
Graham Clark goes again, whipped over the leg side this time. 1 bounce 4 into the football stand. Graham Clark just keeps going here. Moves to 30 off 11 balls. Incredibly positive and attacking start here for Durham, and something that can be incredibly important with low totals. You get the bulk of the work done in the power play. Straight this time, and that is going to land safely. Lands on the sponsor boards, skids away, and Graham Clark picks up another 4 back-to-back boundaries, and that intelligent cricket win percentage has dropped just a touch further.
Immediately diminished. 10%, 11% in the time that I made a comment 3 balls ago. Oh no, it's down to 1.7% for the Steelbacks now.
Short this time, up, and it's going to land safe again. Chase on. I think they're going to cut that one off. It's just going to be a couple this time for Graham Clark. What can you do, Joe, from a cricketer or a professional cricketer's perspective when you've got an opener that comes out against you quite so aggressively and attacking like this? What can you do?
I think you just need to, well, firstly, just try and slow it down a little bit.
And that is up, and it's over the offside. And that is going to be 4 more for Graham Clark. I believe that puts him on 40 or 14 balls, striking at 285. So just slow it down a touch.
He's batting on a completely different wicket to the rest of what we've seen throughout the course of this game, that is for sure. He's doing his job very, very well here. But yeah, just slow it down, just try and take a bit of time out of the game. They're not going to be pushed by the cut-off time, that's for sure.
And that is quite a rare dot ball there at the end of David Willey's second over. The score 42 for no loss off 3. Graham Clark 40. Alex Lees just on 2. And as you can see there on the Intelligent Cricket win predictor, safe to say Durham just about in front at the moment. Looks like we will get a change at the David Capel end. I think Tom Taylor's got his hat off. He bowled brilliantly in the power play on Wednesday night against Worcestershire. He got 2 for 9 off his 2 overs.
Yeah, he was a handful, wasn't he, Tom Taylor, and he'll be looking to have the same impact again here. Obviously, Alex Lees only faced 3 deliveries. He won't be worried about that in the slightest, with the way that Graham Clark's gone about his business.
He's had the best seat in the house so far, isn't he? Tom Taylor then to Alex Lees. I suspect Alex Lees might try and get off the mark, off strike here, I think. Tom Taylor starts with a dot ball. Start that has stunned not only us in the commentary box, but the Northants crowd as well. You can still hear a nice hum around the ground, but certainly not quite as rowdy as what it has been throughout the course of the evening. Whipped, and that is down. There's a chance for Northants to start the innings off, and Alex Lees gets a life. Dropped at short mid-wicket. We've seen a fair few chances go down throughout the course of the evening now.
Yeah, we absolutely have, and I think I remember when I was on comms at the start of this game how well Durham had set their intent out with the fielding, and I must have cursed it again there, because since that point it's all gone downhill. They must have dropped 4 or 5 chances that they would have expected to take, and there was a few half ones as well.
Oh my word, how on earth has Graham Clark muscled that one through mid-wicket? He's given himself a little bit of space there into the leg side, and he has walloped it all along the ground, off the back foot. Tom Taylor turns and watches that one race across to the boundary.
It really wasn't badly bowled from Tom Taylor at all. He's obviously saw Graham Clark give himself room, and he's gone to follow him with the Yorker, and he's probably missed his length by 5 centimetres.
Space this time again, and Tom Taylor bowls that one outside the off stump for a dot ball. So powerfully struck though.
Yeah, it was those wrists and that hand speed that's allowed him to generate enough power, get it all the way through to that mid-wicket boundary.
Graham Clark has 1 ball to hit this for 6 to get the fastest T20 50 for Durham.
And it's a dot ball, Sam. Could have relayed the message out there.
Can still equal it, I guess.
True. I mean, it's been a ridiculous start to this innings.
Yeah, like Joe said, like he's playing a different game.
Tom Taylor then just the 5 off his over so far. And that is past Lewis McManus. Apologies, I put my teeth in. And Graham Clark picks up another 4. That's 50 up for Durham. Graham Clark, 48 off 19. And what was a good over from Tom Taylor with a drop catch at mid-wicket is spoilt by a healthy outside edge past Lewis McManus.
It's Graham Clark's world, and we're just living in it at the moment, I think. 51 for none off 4, not bad at all.
No, that strike rate of 135 last year was slightly misleading as AJ Ty comes into the attack. He'll bowl the 5th over from the Lynn Wilson centre end. Alex Lees is on strike. And Alex Lees tucks that one into the leg side, sensibly putting his opening partner Graham Clark on strike, who I think he's probably seeing it like a beach ball right now. So fielders on the boundary are long on and deep square. That's down the leg side. AJ Ty will have to bowl that one again. That drop catch at mid-wicket, that over a go, without stating the absolute obvious, this is the kind of game that just everything has to go for you, doesn't it? And that's so expensive. Powerfully struck into the leg side. I think it's just going to be one though. I appreciate it. It was Alex Lees, wasn't it, that got the life? So it wasn't Graham Clark who's going like a freight train, but that bit of momentum change could have been so important.
Yeah, absolutely. Just allows the Steelbacks to almost have a bit of an inroad into the game and just try and claw back a little bit of control in terms of building dots, etc. But
oh, Alex Lees joins the party, goes straight down the ground, and that has gone over the rope. 4 signalled by the umpire. It must have been pretty close. We slightly obstructed from our view here, but 4 for Alex Lees, and what looked like a proper shot, that. Got some catching up to do if he's going to equal his opening partner's strike rate, mind you. Gives himself space, and that is beautifully played over mid-off. That's back-to-back 4s now for Alex Lees. That was classical.
yeah, that was a very, very classy stroke. One of the best we've seen tonight, I think. Aerially takes on the man at mid-off. It's beautifully guided, but yeah, just going back to Alex Lee's strike rate. That's the whole reason he's been dropped from the whole Bazball era, right?
That is what we've all been led to believe. And that's a leading edge. And when it's going your way, it's going your way. Alex Lees picks up 1.
A leading edge that's carried all the way beyond the 30-yard circle.
Some
phenomenal.
Good bats going around these pro games.
Yeah, any danger?
We need a breakthrough. Come on, AJ Ty. Let's start this innings off now. Short. And that is going to be 50 for Graham Clark. That is brilliantly fielded on the boundary by Rob Keogh. But 50 for Graham Clark off 21 balls, striking at 242. 7 4s and 2 6s for the Durham opener. And that has been a blistering start.
Yeah, Clark's 12th 50 of his T20 career, and it's been an entertaining one. That is for sure. It's been chalk and cheese at the start of this Durham innings compared to how the Steelbacks were going about their business. Unfortunately.
Tom Taylor to continue at the David Capel end. 9 off his opening over. swing and a miss from Alex Lees.
I thought he bowled that first over particularly well, Sam.
Yeah, given the
got the chance, didn't he, at the at mid wicket, and then got that pretty healthy outside edge, didn't he?
Yeah, well, certainly given the carnage going on. Yeah, as Joe said, Graham Clark is playing a different game, not just to Northamptonshire, but to his opening partner, who is squirted one past Lewis McManus for 4. He moves on to 17. I mean, a strike rate of 154.5 is it's nothing to be ashamed of, but when the guy at the other end is going at 243, you start to feel a little bit sort of put in the shade.
Honestly, Sam, like from that first innings, I'm in absolute shock of what we're witnessing here. This has been quite the ridiculous start.
Yeah, sensational stuff. Cut out to Safe Zaib and just 1 run, which if you're a Durham supporter, does have the upside of bringing Graham Clark back onto strike. 51 off 21 balls, one of the most scintillating T20 innings I can remember for a long time. Well, since Chris Lynn here last year.
Yeah.
And doesn't get much on it, but enough to bring him another boundary. Yeah, I think even Chris Lynn would be pretty proud of this knock so far.
I think most people would be pretty proud of what we've seen from Graham Clark so far. This has been ridiculous.
I reckon he must have got wind of what's happened at the Oval, because Sean Abbott, I don't know if either of you guys have seen, Sean Abbott scored 110 not out of 41 balls.
Wow.
Surrey's first innings, batting at number 6.
You signal wide by the umpire. Makes it 10 off the first 4 legal deliveries.
Some absolutely outrageous hitting so far in the T20 blast this summer. 110 or 40 odd balls.
Not even a batter.
That's a bit stiff. 110 or 40 balls says something different to that.
Chance for a run out if he hits, and he doesn't. Everything going Durham's way at the moment, with 1 ball left of the power play. Thanks very much to our stream partner Daffabet, as well as match sponsor Country Lion. Your support greatly appreciated, not just up here in the commentary box, but by a sellout crowd here at Wantage Road. So big thanks to Country Lion. Alex Lees steals the strike for the next over with a single.
Sorry, Dan, I'm not having your comment about Sean Abbott. Just got the stats right. So this is a guy that hadn't actually scored a 50 in his T20 batting career. His high score was 41.
Wow.
And he's just upped it and scored 110.
I mean, we've all scored 50s here in T20 cricket, haven't we?
I'd need more than 20 overs. Right. The good news for Northamptonshire is that they can have a few more fielders out. The bad news is Graham Clark, don't think there is a ground in the country that would contain his hitting at the moment. Alex Lees is on strike, 19 off 13. Graham White will bowl the second over of spin for the Steelbacks so far tonight. The first was by Josh Cobb, and that went for 24. So Graham White will hope that with some men back, he can make a much needed breakthrough. And that's classy from Lees. Reverse sweep. Ricardo Vasconcelos is chasing, and he will get there. Lees comes back from 2. Not the quickest man between the wickets, Alex Lees.
No, we really need a breakthrough right now, don't we? We could do with a hat trick. We could do with a bit of magic in the fields. We need something here, don't we, to really liven this Northampton bowling attack up.
Reverse sweep from Lees, and this time just a single as Rob Keogh does the fielding out on the mid-wicket boundary.
58 runs required off 82 balls for Durham tonight here at Wantage Road.
Intelligent cricket has gone blank.
It does that.
It's gone home for the night.
I think it's in.
And I didn't quite see whether that carried or not.
I think it might have done, Sam.
And you think it's probably far too little, far too late.
Judging by Graham White's reaction, I think it might have done.
Slapped into the man at extra cover, well fielded in the end by David Willey, having to sort of take it on the half volley. Well, yeah, I hate to be fatalistic, but I'm just not sure how much difference that would have made. I suppose you get rid of the guy who scored 56 of 25 balls and you open an end, but Graham Clark opens himself up and scores yet another boundary. 60 off 26 balls. 230.80 striking out. That's a lovely classical shot. Just allowed himself to go over the ring, extra cover. 9 fours, 2 sixes for Graham Clark. And I have to say, the body language of the Northamptonshire side is one at the moment that is a little resigned to its fate.
Yeah, you said, didn't you, about the change of format and the form that can kind of carry through into a different competition. As you said, the players are still the same. Graham Clark, so far this season in the Championship, scored 285 runs with 100 striking at 58. He's clearly had a very, very good start to the year, and as you said, regardless of the coloured shirts or the colour of the ball, it's still the same bloke out there holding the cricket bat, isn't it?
James Sells enters the attack. He was a little bit ill-disciplined with extras on Wednesday night, but actually bowled nicely, really. Other than that, some quickish bouncers which caught a few batters by surprise, and he's had a good run of things with the ball in the Championship of recent weeks. See what he can do, and beat Graham Clark first up is the answer for now. Good start from James Sells, who Dan and I both agree is a cricketer that makes things happen. He's going to have to make something pretty special happen tonight if Northamptonshire are going to have any hope.
Yeah, he's developed a bit of a knack, hasn't he, at the start of this season of being a partnership breaker with the ball, and I mean, 85-run partnership would be quite a nice one to break here, James.
Great start from young James Sells, 2 dots, and a few ironic cheers from the crowd. Just 4.13 per over now required, which says it all. There's one of those bouncers. It's up in the air and all the way. 6 runs. Graham Clark clears the man, Safe Zaib, at the deep mid-wicket boundary. For a second, Safe Zaib might have thought he was in business, but no more than a second, because it soon flew over his head, straight in front of the burger van. And this time, a top edge, thick top edge, 1-2 bounce for Graham Clark is making this look ridiculously easy.
I think you've done him a disservice there, Sam. I think he might have played that. He has opened that offside up and whipped it over backward point, hasn't he, before? There's 43 runs left. Graham Clark needs 29 for 100. He is well on for 100 here in the T20 Blast.
This time he picks out the man. They will look at coming back for 2, but Alex Lees in the end says no. I think Graham Clark might have his eye on that 100, Dan, keeping the strike, if indeed he stays down that end from the final ball of the over. 11 off the over so far. Good start from James Sells, 2 dots and then 6-4-1. If I'm Alex Lees, I'm playing for a red inker here. Oh, well fielded, James Sells. That was hit hard by Alex Lees, and James Sells fields nicely off his bowling. 11 runs off James Sells' first over of the night, which in the context of some of the overs we've seen is not a bad effort.
Not at all. Gives Graham Clark the strike, and it looks like Safe Zaib's going to be given the task of trying to break this partnership now with his left arm finger spin.
Yeah. I'm sure Safe Zaib's delighted that his first bowl of the campaign will be at this stage, but take it where it comes, and you never know. If you wheedle a couple out, then you're putting your hand up for the rest of the campaign. He's in consultation with his skipper, David Willey.
He's a competitor though, Safe. He loves his cricket. I spoke to him earlier today, asked him whether we were going to see a bit of Safe Zaib with the ball, and he did say he keeps letting Dave know that he's loose.
Pushed out to Tom Taylor at long on.
Something he's been working really, really hard on over the winter. His bowling.
Safe with his bright green spikes. Some loud spikes on show last night at Lord's. I think the Surrey boys like that fluoro orange. Something I noticed, Joe, in your game yesterday, as Zaib comes in, and I think he just saw Alex Lees coming there and just dragged his length back. Intelligent bowling from the slow left armour, just 1 run. None of the women's players have Larry spikes. I like your classic white pair.
Yeah, they're a fresh pair of trainers that have been spiked up to be fair.
Uppish from Clark, but safe enough. Good stuff this from Safe Zaib. 1-1 ... Oh, and if Safe Zaib was a couple of inches taller, that might have been a chance in the end. Just a single down to James Sells at mid-off.
But I must say, I feel like I do want to get in the market of the Larry Spikes gang.
What colour?
Orange.
Some fiery orange
but
spikes
they were so
to go with
bright
yours.
last night.
Yeah.
To go with your sleeves as well on that Sunrises shirt.
Reverse sweep beats the man Vasconcelos in the ring. Rob Keogh there to do the cleaning up, running around from deep square leg. And that's the 100 up for Durham in just 8.5 overs. 101 in 8.5 overs. 74 of those to Graham Clark. What do you think about Ben Stokes' black spikes? These pushes out onto the onside. That to me just looks like the kid that forgot to bring their trainers to
There is
to PE.
absolutely no way you're saying that to Ben Stokes either. Not a chance. Ben Stokes can do whatever
he can wear what he
wants.
likes. Yeah, exactly. Good over from Safe Zaib.
Durham's first 100 partnership in the Blast since September 2020.
Who was that?
Ben Rain and Alex Lees. The last 2 actually have involved Alex Lees, both in 2020. Alex Lees and Graham Clark, 105, the second wicket. Ben Rain and Alex Lees, 123, second wicket.
Well, his captaincy career at Durham is going pretty well so far. AJ Tye into the attack for his second over. Yeah, they look a different side from the one Northamptonshire played last year. I think the 2 Dutchmen added something with the ball. Nathan Souter, a great acquisition as we saw tonight, and Alex Lees supporting Graham Clark, who's been a solid performer for the Northeastern County for a number of years. They're just picking them off in 1s and 2s at the moment. It's all they need to do.
Yeah, the big question posed by the ECB on their official website about Durham and the T20 Blast this year was, can head coach Ryan Campbell's attacking mindset help Durham shake the unwanted tag of serial underperformers? Campbell has already worked wonders in the Red Bull format and now faces a challenge to turn around Durham's T20 form. And I mean, based on tonight's performance, you'd say that attacking mindset is on full show, wouldn't you?
Alex Lees asked the question, why was that not a wide? Well, the answer, Alex, is because you stepped over to the leg side and you were followed by AJ Tai. Don't worry, you only need 34 to win, and you've got 10.5 overs to get them.
It's a classic cricketer there from Alex Lees, wasn't it? Playing the imaginary shot after the ball's gone by.
Pulled down to Cobb at fine leg. Partnership 105 off 58 balls. And the noise around Wantage Road is one more of a sort of drinks party than a house party. Hasn't really got going tonight for the home fans. Oh, and that is absolutely hammered down the ground. Uppish for a second, but AJ Tai, I think, quite wisely withdrew his hand because that would have taken it off, I think. Yeah, going back to your point about Ryan Campbell's aggressive approach, Dan. Last year, I think they were the team with the fewest sixes, 66 in the tournament. Graham Clark's got about 5% of them already in 9 overs. Slower ball, out towards the man, and dropped. Second one to go down tonight. This time it's Clark that has dropped. And really, Northamptonshire have just not been at the races.
No, when it's not going your way, Sam, it's not going your way, is it? Equally, when it's going Graham Clark's way, it's definitely going Graham Clark's way.
10 overs bowled. And Dan will take a break with Joe calling what may well be the end of this match. Did you see who was it that dropped that catch, Joe? I didn't quite see from over.
It was either Tom Taylor or James Sales.
Thought it might have been Sales, yeah, but
Cobb comes back in. Driven to extra cover for a rare dot in this Graham Clark innings. It's on 80's highest score since August 2017. That's up in the air. Is it going to be a chance? Running round. Oh, it's fell in between both of the men. And it's going to be deflected for another Graham Clark boundary, unfortunately, for the Steelbacks fans. It was up in the air for a long time and it bounced between Vasconcelos and Taylor. Took Taylor's hand, ushered it to the rope. Clark moves on to 84. Dragged down from Josh Cobb, but it's only going to be one out to that man at deep mid-wicket.
so he needs 15 for his 100, 23 to win. Is he going to get there?
I'm saying yes.
Okay, I'll go no. I think Alex Lees will ruin it with a 4 or a 6.
Punched off the back foot nicely from Lees, and it was half stopped by Vasconcelos at extra cover, but they've come through for a couple.
Bit ragged in the field.
Yeah, it's not been great, has it? I think since kind of Clark showed his impetus of how he was going to go about the run chase, it's reverse sweep from Lees, but misses out that time. Yeah, kind of from that third, fourth over, the body language and demeanour of the Steelbacks has been a bit flat. Into the pitch. Well bowled from Cobb, but Lees has managed to play it late enough and hit it into the pitch hard enough that it's bounced over Cobb's head and it goes out to long off, and he'll come through for a single and nick the strike. So more runs that Alex Lees is scoring, the more he's likely to deny Graham Clark of what could be a first T20 100. Safe Zaib's coming back from the David Capel end. Just 20 runs required for Durham. It's been a tough night for the Steelbacks. What are we going to see here from Zaib? Good first over from him. A few dots and only went for just 6 runs. Lees uses his feet. Picks out David Willey at mid-wicket. Squeezes another dot to Zaib. Not doing himself any harm. Lees uses his feet again, but slog sweeps on the turf out towards mid-wicket, and it brings Graham Clark back onto strike. Where's he going? I'm going to say slog sweep, just like he did to Josh Cobb in Josh Cobb's first over. That's my prediction here. No, it's well bowled from Safe. Into the pitch. He's not doing himself any harm at all in the 9 balls that we've seen from Safe Zaib. Slower this time. Lee sweeps hard out towards Rob Keogh, deep backward square.
100% Joe. He's bowled to his field. He's adjusted his lengths, reacted to the batter. Dan said he'd been working very hard on his bowling over the winter and early in this summer. I think that's showing.
Hit powerfully down the ground. Has it gone all the way? Yes, it has. Graham Clark just doing what Graham Clark has done in this innings, and he adds another 6 runs to his total and his career T20 best. 92 not out he is, surpassing his previous best of 91 against Yorkshire in 2015. He's gone again, long on. Will it carry? And it's another drop catch, unfortunately. It was tough diving forward, Andrew Tye. But a man of his quality and experience, I'm sure he would have backed himself to take that. It was darted into the pitch from Safe Zaib, and it was certainly a genuine opportunity. Clark gets the single and takes the strike. He needs 7 for his maiden T20 100.
Just looked it up. Only 1 player in Durham history has made a T20 100. Same man that's top of the best bowling figures for Durham. Paul Collingwood, 108 not out against Worcester at New Road in 2017. Another 6 would take Graham Clark second in that list, past Tom Latham at 98 not out against Nottinghamshire at Trent Bridge in 2018.
Here come James Sales for his second over. Pace taken off of that one, and it's been hit out towards Rob Keogh. Square leg, and it'll just be a single to Graham Clark. $129. I think it's the second highest partnership T20 cricket for Durham. They'll come back for 2. Good running from these 2. Lees is just ticking along on 35 with Graham Clark at the other end on 94. 7 runs required for Durham. Well bowled from Sales, takes the pace off. It was a back of the hand slow ball, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's very well executed.
Yeah. He's got a selection of good variations for a man so young, but I guess that's the sort of T20 generation, you know, whereas 20 years ago you weren't sort of brought up being told anything other than bowl top of off. Nowadays you're sort of age 10 working on your knuckleball.
Boos from the crowd as it's just one hit that was required to take Durham to their target, but just the one on to Clark's total of 95, so 5 required for Durham. 133 for no wicket. It's ominous signs for the Steelbacks. Sure, well executed bumper there from James Sales, but Alex Lees was equal to it, and it was controlled nicely out to Graham White at deep mid wicket. So final ball of the over. Is he gonna nick the strike, or is he gonna go for the 6? You don't want to be 99 not out, do you?
He's going to go for it, I think. And David Willey's having a word with James Sells.
What are you going to do, buddy? Just back yourself.
Another one of those slower balls, I reckon.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Pace on.
It's a run-out opportunity. That was all a bit chaotic. They managed to scamper through for the single, so Graham Clark will keep the strike.
Double bluff, wasn't it? Or bluff. I think we all expected pace off, and then it was a sort of a length delivery with pace, and
just fumbled by James Sales, shy at the stumps. Missed by a fair amount. So Durham just need 3 to win. Graham Clark needing just 4 runs to take him to a maiden T20 century. What will be the second for Durham in their T20 history.
Utterly dominant tonight, really, from the first over. Once Chris Lynn went without scoring, Durham have been in the ascendancy ever since.
Hit hard to David Willey at extra cover. They'll come back for 2. Looks like Alex Lees has just gone up from 2nd gear into 4th gear to get Graham Clark back on strike there. He ran that very hard.
So
just one to win. 1 to win for Durham and 2 for Graham Clark.
Spear it down the leg side, right?
Yeah. Oh.
You're such a
not sure how the MCC
you are awful.
Big overstep. Oh, he can still smash you then, can't he? No, I'm flinging it down leg side.
I mean, if anybody listening has ever wondered what type of cricketer Sam Keir is, I think you've just got your example.
It would be miserably unfair. This guy deserves 100 tonight. Class act. Just the crisp timing, the sweetness of his shots. Like barely mistimed a single shot.
Uses his feet, and it's gonna go all the way for 4. Graham Clark gets his maiden T20 century, and the celebration with so much passion you can see from him there, and takes Durham to victory here at Wantage Road. They win by 10 wickets in the 14th over. 49 ball century with 13 4s and 4 6s for Graham Clark. He'll finish 102 not out. Alex Lees 37 not out. He's been the man of the evening here at Wantage Road. Excellent batting from Graham Clark on a completely different pitch to what we saw in the first innings.
Well, he certainly made it look that way, and what a privilege to watch an innings like that. He has just taken this Northants attack to the cleaners. Graham Clark, certainly with the fastest 100 for Durham in T20 cricket. Not quite the highest score in their history, 108 not out. Paul Collingwood stands as their top score, but I think this probably beats it in terms of electrifying. Just sensational, and credit to the guy. That is a brilliant innings.
Really hard to to summarise that, really, isn't it? From a Northamptonshire perspective, some incredibly tough watching with the bat and then also with the ball. But I do hope the cricket fans out there watching the stream and the cricket fans that have been in the ground today have thoroughly enjoyed that absolute masterclass from Graham Clark. I mean, yeah, we're all sat here with Northants shirts and hats and lanyards and all the other merch that you can get hold of, mini helmets too. But you have to take your mini helmet off, don't you, sometimes? And Graham Clark, I mean, what a ridiculous performance that is. Incredible.
And the fact he's played like that almost makes you forget that that's a 10-wicket win in how many overs? 80 balls. So in 13.2 overs. I mean, that is as comprehensive as it gets. Just, yeah, you're lost for words, really. And yeah, like you say, Dan, you just hope that people here tonight as well appreciate. They certainly saw something special. It may not have been the result they wanted, but that'll live long in the memory.
Yeah, without doubt. I think everybody can get the rough feeling that us inside the commentary box are a little bit stunned as to what we've just seen. So apologies if we are lost for words. We all got our predictions wildly wrong at the start of the day as well. So that's 0 from 3 for the three of us, just to kind of add a bit of insult to the injury. I don't know if either of you two have any more that you want to summarise on, or whether we want to wish everybody good luck who's playing cricket tomorrow for whatever club in whatever league that they're playing in, and just say thanks everybody for tuning in on this stream powered by Daffabet.
Yeah, thank you very much to everyone, and to you guys, always a pleasure.
Loved it again, despite being on the wrong side of the result, and you just hope that they're not too scarred by such a clinic, I think, from Graham Clark and the way that Durham have gone about their business. But they look a serious side, and a side clearly full of confidence.
Yeah, absolutely right. Northants go again on Monday away at Derbyshire. You're going to be there on radio this time. Back here a week, well, Wednesday next week against Birmingham in that doubleheader that we've spoken about with Joe playing before that. Sam and I won't be here because it's going to be on Sky, but we will be back a week today for the game against Leicestershire on stream again. So if we don't see you before, we'll see you a week today, and good luck to everyone that's playing over the weekend.